Well, the Blue Man Group throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. I don't know if the first pitch has ever been tossed in this manner. I wouldn't want to catch it.
And I don't think Jeff Samardzija did either.
Nicely done. At the Cubs Southwest starting lineup here momentarily as right-hander Braden Looper will work to Alfonso Soriano. Too bad he can't lead off the bottom of the first with two guys on. He has been the master of the three-run homer lately. Ball one inside from Looper.
I don't think it's any coincidence you've seen the Cubs in the last 7 or 8 games. When Soriano is back in the lineup and swinging the bat well, he makes everybody in that lineup a lot more dangerous.
High in the air and not deep as Schumacher comes in. And again, the wind pushing everything back towards home plate. Wind out of the northeast at 12. Now the rest of the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Ryan Theriot coming up, Derek Lee behind him, then Aramis Ramirez, Kosuke in right batting fifth, Giovanni Soto back to the plate, the former Cardinal Jim Edmonds in center, Mark DeRosa hitting 8, knocked in 5 including a grand slam 2 days ago, and Ted Lilly batting ninth. Fastball strike. 0-1 on Theriot, who's protecting that front leg and the foot with the shin guard today. In these two lineups combined, 4 of the top 10 hitters in the National League. Ryan Theriot coming in at 7th in the league. Albert Pujols is 2nd. And you have Ludwig and Molina tied for 9th. Numbers for Braden Looper. Pretty close lefties and righties against him. Batting average, and he did it again. This is just one of those days for Ryan Theriot. Man, oh man.
Fortunately, he had that protective guard on, or it may have been even worse.
He slipped on the base hit by Kennedy, got spiked in the left knee, fouled the ball right in that very similar area on Wednesday. And as you said, fortunately, he has some protection down there. Mark O'Neill, the head athletic trainer, just saying what can happen next. Two and two.
I think what has really made Ryan such a more offensive threat, he has to have had 15 or 20 hits. He does a tremendous job with 2 strikes, cutting his swing down, approaching, hitting the ball back up through the middle, through the right side of the infield. He is a vastly improved hitter from last season.
Easy play for Izturis for the second out. Excellent conditions, 72 degrees, a pitcher's day. Dan likes that. Wind out of the northeast at 12. A very pleasant forecast. It's hard to believe we're in early August.
One of the things you know you're having a good season when you look at the calendar and you see August 8th and you say to yourself it's already August 8th. There are a lot of teams in baseball right now that are counting the days to the last week of September.
Derek Lee fouls it away. Career game number 1,499 for Derek, facing a former Florida teammate. That's when Braden Looper was a short reliever. Last year he jumped into the Cardinals starting rotation. This is his 54th career start. Low and outside. Dan, what does he like to throw?
Well, he has a very good sinking fastball. Big, tall, strong guy. Throws his fastball primarily a 2-seam fastball on a very good downhill plane.
There's a base hit for Derek Lee, keeping the first inning alive.
basically Braden Looper. He's primarily a fastball pitcher, a two-seam fastball, low to middle 90s. Has basically three primary pitches: his fastball, a slider, and he will incorporate a split finger pitch, but primarily to the left-handers.
Here's Aramis Ramirez. Runner at first, 2 outs. We're in the opening inning. No score. Cardinals and Cubs. Outside, ball 1. Aramis is 4 for 20 against Looper. 2 walks. He's been hit by a pitch. A kick and the 1-0. That is in there on the outer half. 1-1.
One of the things that Looper has, when you're making the transition from the bullpen to the starting pitcher, incorporating more pitches. He has a 4-seam fastball, primarily out of the bullpen. He had a real good power sinking fastball, mixing in more of his pitches now.
It was too far inside. Former Cub Todd Wellemeyer will start for the Cardinals tomorrow. Carlos Zambrano for the Cubs. And then Sunday night, how about this matchup? Chris Carpenter and Ryan Dempster. 3-1.
You look at all the good things that have happened with this team, but I think the thing that you singly look at the most that has been so impressive has been the patience of these hitters. They go up there with an idea and approach, and I think what you're seeing now, you're seeing that stream all the way through the lineup, working deep counts, getting starting pitchers at that 50-60 pitch mark in the 4th and 5th inning.
Ooh, he called that a strike.
But that's a good take. If you're in a situation there, you're Aramis Ramirez, 3-ball, 1-strike count. You're looking for a ball in a particular area. There really isn't much that you can do with this. Probably 4 or 5 inches off the plate, but a good take. Not being afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
That looked to be way outside. Lee now runs on the 3-2, jumps over the ball, and he's going to stop at second. So back-to-back 2-out singles to keep the first inning alive. You have to think, Dan, Aramis is saying to Albert Pujols, can you believe that he called that a strike?
Well, fortunately for the Cubs, this is a pitch right here that Aramis Ramirez, and this is what separates him from just being a home run type hitter. He's not afraid to take a ball on the outer third and drive it to the right side of the diamond. And I think that's why he's so dangerous in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. There's not one way to pitch him.
Now the pitch to Kosuke, swings and misses.
Once you start
batting 5th today.
And once you start developing a reputation as a hitter from a pitcher standpoint, every pitcher's looking to find one spot where they can go to be safe. And if you're covering both inside and outside like Ramirez does, it makes it awfully tough on a pitcher.
Long pause by Looper. Molina likes to throw to every base, and Lee was able to get back in time. Yadier Molina was 6 pickoffs from behind the plate already this season. 25 in his career. It's to showcase that big arm. 1-2. Kosuke got off to a fantastic start, particularly here at home. The 1-2 on the way, a fly ball to left. It's Joe Mather to make the grab, and that'll end the inning. The Cubs get back-to-back 2-out hits from Lee and Ramirez, but they're both stranded. Early on, it's 0-0 on a beautiful day from the north side.
The event is now on. But it won't last forever. The Lexus Summer Sales Event, where you'll find the best values of the year now through September 2nd. Lease the 2008 ES350 for $399 a month for 36 months for $34.99 due at signing.
Add a touch of elegance to your home from Menards. Create a custom look with beautiful Coliseum porcelain tile. It has the look of natural stone. 2 sizes available in 4 colors, only $199 a square foot. For a perfect installation, use professional quality Maupay mortars and grouts. Ultraflex 1 is a latex modified mortar. Just add water and mix, only $11.99 for a 50-pound bag. Menards, dedicated to service and quality.
Save big money at Menards.
Dames en heren, we gaan beginnen!
Exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
Well, to commemorate this special day, Cardinals are here. The West Side Rooters Social Club led a tally-ho party parade. There's Dutchie Carey. They went from Harry Carey's downtown here to the ballpark today. Exactly 100 years to the day after one of the original Rooters tally-ho parties. Ernie Banks on the bus as well, Mr. Cub. And he's also the Rooters chairman. The president, Grant DePorter. Dutchie Carey is the treasurer. Pretty neat. On their way to the ballpark today. So here's Troy Gloss, who's 0 for 24 on the season against the Cubs, and he'll make it 0 for 25 as Edmonds will gather it in.
This is a real good sign early on for Ted Lilly. Last couple of starts was a little erratic in the strike zone, falling behind hitters, was able to have a nice, quick first inning. Troy Glaus jumping on the first pitch right there. Give Ted a chance to be in that 50-60 pitch mark going into that 4th or 5th inning.
Al Molina coming in at 307, again in the top 10 in batting in the National League. Strike one.
The key, Len, to getting hitters to commit early is to be able to show the opposing team that you'll be able to throw the ball, throw strikes early. Hitters will go up there swinging the bat.
Ted's facing the Cardinals for the 3rd time this season. 1-0 with a 3.46 in his career, 4-2 with a 3.06 in 8 previous starts. Looking for his 86th Major League victory. Battled through some command issues early on Saturday against the Pirates. It settled in, allowed just 1 run and 6 1/3 as Mark DeRosa will retire Molina. Dan, I think Ted would be the first to tell you that while he is 11-6, the record has been fantastic. There has been room for improvement, and he commented the other day that he has put himself into some trouble at times.
But he's been very good, Len, in some big games, and he's been very good when the Cubs have lost games where he has been able to pitch the Cubs out of some losing streaks. He's gotten better as the season has gone on.
Ground ball to DeRosa. This is that efficiency you're talking about. A 6-pitch 2nd inning. So the Cubs back on offense. Soto, Edmonds, and DeRosa when we come back in the 2nd.
Thanks, folks. I gotta get going. Cindy, keep my plane ready a little later. We're not finished yet. Cindy, I got stuck on a client call. Cindy, something else just came up. Oh, yeah. Hey, Cindy.
Your plane is ready.
Thanks, Cindy. You're the best.
With 14 daily one-stop or connecting flights, you'll feel like you have your own company plane. You can count on Southwest Airlines to get you there on time with friendly customer service.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hi, can I have an MGD 64, please?
A margarita 64?
Okay. 12 ounces, 64 calories.
Enjoy.
MGD 64. As light as it gets.
Alex Klein is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell his story, we hired that guy who does those funny sound effects.
My car was totaled over 1,000 miles from home. So I called Geico. And in less than 10 business hours, I got a check for a new car.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
Think back to the last time you had a juicy Johnsonville brat. Remember how they sizzled on the grill? Memories are great.
Honey.
But there's nothing like the real thing.
Nice. I know.
Flavor up with Johnsonville brats.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
Hey, Sunday is AM/PM day here at Wrigley Field. Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals at 7:05. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Cubs cooler bag, compliments of AM/PM. Too much good stuff. No better place to be than Wrigley Field on a day like this. Cubs hosting the Cardinals. The Cubs in first place. And a chance to really do some damage this weekend to the Cardinals' division hopes. They're very close in the wild card, but right now they come in here feeling like they absolutely have to win the series. And the Cubs right now in the driver's seat in the Central. So it's Looper against Giovanni Soto, and he skips one to his Turris. We'll throw him out. Still a long way to go. Well, you'd rather be where the Cubs are than any place else. And as you said, the Cardinals and probably the Tampa Bay Rays, the two biggest positive surprises in baseball this season. The Brewers hosting Washington starting tonight.
Well, I think most experts going into this season thought that the Central was going to really be a two-horse race on paper between the Cubs and the Brewers. And the Cardinals have been a very pleasant surprise. Albert Pujols has spent some time on the disabled list, but Tony La Russa has had a terrific managerial career, and this may be, Len, one of his best years ever as far as with what he's had to work with, the injuries they've been through, kind of a makeshift starting rotation, trying to piece together a back end of a bullpen. Terrific job by Tony La Russa.
That's a strike on the inside corner. Tony La Russa is a guy Jim Edmonds probably doesn't want to talk about very much right now. Tony got on his former player in the media when we were in St. Louis because Jim expressed a desire to kind of move on from his Cardinal days now that he's a Chicago Cub. He went 0 for 7 in that series. I think this will be a little bit easier for Jim this weekend wearing the home pinstripes in Chicago. A 1-2 from Looper just missed.
And it's tough for any player when you've been with an organization for a while, even though Jim Edmonds came up and really started his career with the Angels, had a big impact with the St. Louis Cardinals, and then go to San Diego, and then you join the hated rival, the Cubs. And it's a transition period, both not only for the fans, but also for the player themselves.
Another one in tight. He's run at full 3-2. In that game in Milwaukee tonight, right-hander Colin Ballister will pitch for the Nationals. CC Sabathia will go for the Brewers. There's a deep drive to right for Jim Edmonds. Back, and it is gone. A home run. Wind not helping him much today. That might have found Sheffield if the wind were blowing out.
What a find, and Jim Henry deserves a huge pat on the back for bringing in Jim Edmonds. I know there were a lot of people that thought his better days were behind him, but you put a guy like Jim Edmonds, his experience, he's a winning player, in a lineup with Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez, and all the interchangeable parts. What a welcomed addition, and there's a lot of good baseball left in Jim Edmonds.
That had to feel great coming against his former team after that rough weekend in St. Louis. He gives the Cubs the lead 1-0. Mark DeRosa, who had that big day on Wednesday.
Fastball inner third and into the wind, and he drives this one a long way to right field.
Nice catch out in right.
I think more than anything, he brings a presence to the lineup. He's a winning player. He's been on some really good teams. He's had experience. He's been through the month of August, and he knows what a pennant drive is going to take. And I think when you're younger players, you have guys like Giovanni Soto and Ryan Theriot, that they see that the way that the veteran players go about their jobs daily, the way they approach batting practice, the way they approach taking infield, doing things the right way.
Well, DeRosa got his first career curtain call after the go-ahead grand slam against the Astros. 8 RBIs over his last 2 games, and according to Elias, since the RBI became an official stat in 1920, only 2 other Cubs second basemen have knocked in 8 or more in a 2-game span as his tourist moves to his left. Ryne Sandberg did it in June of '84 and again in August of '85. Rogers Hornsby did it in 1931. Had 8 and 9 over 2 overlapping 2-game spans. The last time I checked, those 2 guys are in the Hall of Fame, so
not bad
pretty good company. Ted Lilly's done a nice job with the bat as he taps it foul. Not always pretty at the plate, but he has gotten it done.
I'm not sure if that's his plan by design early in the count. You see that swing there on a fastball, and there was a game in Milwaukee where it almost seems like an emergency type swing. He has a knack for hitting that knockdown 3-iron right in front of home plate and have it dribble between the mound and third base.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
One of my former pitching coaches, Ray Miller's advice when I would go up where a pitcher would be, act like you go up there and you don't want to swing, and maybe they'll lay one right in there for you.
Ted strikes out. That's the first K for Looper, but Jim Edmonds got him. First career homer against the Cardinals as a member of the Cubs. 1-0.
So I can pick any 5 of those items for just $5.95.
Yes, sir. They're all classics.
What about an Arby's Melt soft drink, mozzarella sticks, curly fries, and a Jamocha shake?
$5.95.
What about fries, an Arby's Melt, mozzarella sticks, a turnover, and a Jamocha shake?
$5.95.
What about 3 Arby's Melts, 1 mozzarella sticks?
And a Jamocha shake?
No, thank you. I'll have 5 curly fries.
The Arby's Pick 5 for $5.95 deal. So amazing, it'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Can you spot the Ninja 250R? All-new Ninja 250R from Kawasaki.
Hi, I'm John Brenny. Come check out all the new Kawasaki's at Brenny Cycle Works in East Moline.
Mediacom digital cable. Move up to something more, like free HD channels. Catch all the Beijing action and more in picture-perfect high def. Plus, over 4,000 on-demand programs. Hit movies, sports, comedy. Even watch your favorite original series with HBO and Stars, free on demand. It's all right here when you get Digital 2 Star, featuring up to 23 channels of Stars, Encore, and HBO. Now just $14.95 a month for a year. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV.
Hey, Cub fans, Cubs games are now on Comcast Sportsnet on demand. Comcast customers go to digital channel $9.99 and look for Comcast Sportsnet and watch Cubs games on demand. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Cub games on demand not available in all areas. Tony La Russa likes to bat the pitcher 8th, so it's Braden Looper leading off the 3rd. The Cubs lead 1-0 on Jim Edmonds' first career homer against the Cardinals. 0-2 the count.
Nice to see Ted Lilly attacking the strike zone early. Keep that pitch count down. More importantly, the more strikes you throw early on in the game allows you more to expand that strike zone when the 3, 4, and 5 hitters start to come into play.
Looper hitting .286 on the year. Knocked the bat out of his hands. 1-2. Gotten on base at a .348 clip. Tied for third in batting average as a pitcher in the majors.
Well, that pitch really wasn't that close, Len, but I think Braden Looper thinking no ball, 2 strike count, looking for something soft, maybe a slow breaking ball.
Awkward looking swing.
That was my A swing right there. That's the swing of a guy that's 1 for 16 career right there. Right here, the old emergency swing.
Well, you saw as we went to break, Jim Edmonds, after he hit the home run, I don't think he forgot about that little controversy in St. Louis with his former manager. And when you have the Cubs and Cardinals hooking up, there always has to be something else going on. Fly to left, and that sends Soriano back. He's twisting and turning, and he makes a catch. Schumacher's out, 2 down. And when Dusty Baker was here, he and Tony La Russa had a few moments. Been pretty quiet the last couple of years. Tony has known Lou Piniella since their childhood days back in the Tampa area. You had the Edmonds versus the Cardinals as a backdrop today. Fouled back by Mather. Mather got called up on July 21st from AAA Memphis to replace Chris Duncan, who is now done for the season after neck surgery. This one will be out of play. I saw Joe in the Cardinal clubhouse. I wanted to make sure I got his last name right. He said, yeah, it is Mather. He said, a lot of people say Mathers, because if you watched Leave It to Beaver, right? Jerry Mathers. There's no S. It's Joe Mather. Drilled deep to left. And that'll tie it up. Mather with his 6th home run. Lilly had retired 7 straight after the Kennedy infield hit, but Mather takes him up and out. And it's 1-1.
Well, that's a pitch right there that Ted would like to have back. No ball, 2 strike count on a right-handed hitter. Started him off with a fastball. More than likely in a scenario like that, looking to throw something down and into a right-handed hitter, bury a breaking ball down on the back foot. And this breaking ball here just gets a little bit too much at the plate. Hanging curveball. Not a real good pitch, 0-2.
Ted came in having allowed 25 home runs, tied for the National League lead. So he's now allowed 26. Brett Myers and Brandon Backey have also yielded 25. Inside on Kennedy, 2 balls, no strikes.
Now this is a point in the game as a pitcher where you're disappointed, you give up a no ball, 2 strike home run, and you really take a step back and get yourself back in that groove.
Slowly hit ground ball to DeRosa. That's the 3rd out. But a 2-out solo home run by Mather has tied it up. Edmonds for the Cubs, Mather for the Cardinals, and it's 1-1.
Fuel efficiency, durability, safety. Of all the great things Nissan brings you, this is the most thrilling. The bottom line. Nissan's model year-end sales event. Get $1,500 cash back on the 33 MPG Sentra or $199 lease on the 32 MPG Altima. Event ends September 2nd. That's the bottom line. Nissan.
Bank of America offers the opportunity to see Wrigley Field like never before. Take a 90-minute guided tour and see the press box, locker room, dugouts, and more. With the new expanded summer schedule, it's now more convenient than ever to experience beautiful Wrigley Field. Purchase tickets by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or by visiting Cubs.com. Chicago Tribune Live, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. Tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning.
I think I might need some better brakes.
You need our Midas Secure Stop brake service.
Is that something new?
Brand spanking.
Really?
Yeah. Exceptional stopping power combined with the security of a 55-point brake inspection.
And the pads are lifetime guaranteed.
So next time this one.
That's why we call it Secure Stop.
Trust the Midas touch.
Tonight, an American League battle explodes on the South Side as the White Sox collide with the defending World Series champions, the Boston Red Sox in HD, followed by U.S. Cellular White Sox Postgame Live. White Sox Red Sox in HD tonight at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Each team with a solo home run. Edmonds for the Cubs, Mather for the Cards, and it's the top of the order here in the bottom of the third. Len Casper along with Dan Plesac in for Bob Brenly. Bob will be back on the upcoming road trip. Outside corner strike from Braden Looper. Now the Menards big lumber stat, 6 homers and a .417 average for Soriano during this hot stretch. And when he's hot, he's the best hitter in baseball. He's very streaky. So when he is in this zone, he doesn't miss.
What is amazing is he can cover the high ball, and the harder you throw and the lower you throw it, you're really playing right into his strength. He's one of the few right-handed hitters that I've seen that can take a fastball, a sinking fastball, a low curveball, ankle high, get underneath it and lift it and hook it. There really, when he's swinging the bat well, there really isn't one place that you feel safe as a pitcher to go, because he can cover up, down, in, and out. And when he's swinging the bat well, he's awfully tough to get out. Sometimes I think the best approach from a pitcher standpoint when you have a guy like Soriano is not so much up, down, in, and out. It's more hard, soft, try to get his balance a little bit off, to get his timing off.
Who's going to take it? It'll be the second baseman Kennedy for out number 1. Well, you just have weeks like this sometimes. Ryan Terry on Wednesday against the Astros fouled the ball off the instep near the arch on his left foot. Today he got spiked in the left knee on a slide by Adam Kennedy in the very first inning, and then he fouled the ball off the foot again in his first at bat.
Might not be a bad idea. See if he can borrow some of Bob Brenly's old shin guards.
Well, Bob would be the first to tell you that as much protection as a catcher wears, that ball generally will find unprotected areas. That's how it usually works. Looper can't get it. Kennedy will. He'll sling to Pujols, but he missed him, and it went right into the dugout, probably up the tunnel as well. And that'll be a single for Terrio. There'll be a throwing error on Kennedy, allowing Ryan to move to second base. The Cardinals coming into play today have the second fewest errors in the National League. That's just their 56th of the season.
This is a tough play for a middle infielder. Your momentum is taking you towards the third base side of the diamond. You're going to have to make a strong throw across your body up the line. And fortunately for Albert Pujols, was able to avoid a collision with Ryan Terrio.
Now D. Lee with the go-ahead run at second base. Only 1 out. Kennedy plays almost behind second base. They put a big pull shift on against Derek. And he hits it the other way, and it'll be Ludwig to make the play as Terrio will have to go back to second. Dan, we've seen a couple of fly balls in which corner outfielders have kind of had to move both directions with the wind playing tricks today.
This is as tough a ballpark in the major leagues when the wind comes into play. And the thing that makes this field so difficult is it can switch from inning to inning. You have the wind blowing, for the most part right now, blowing straight in. In 15-20 minutes from now, it may be blowing a little bit towards left center field. As a position player, particularly an outfielder, you really need to check those flags every inning when you go out to take your position.
So 2 down here in the inning. Ramirez 1 for 1. And Looper's pitch low and inside. And we've seen this. We saw this from Soriano, kind of having to turn in 2 different directions. And as Ludwig just made the catch, retiring lead.
Well, what makes it doubly tough here at Wrigley in the day games, not only you're fighting to win, right field is a very tough sun field in this ballpark.
Could not have dialed it up better. We'll see what Aramis gets on a 2-0 pitch. Here it is. A fastball that just missed. 3 balls, no strikes. Fukudome would hit next if Aramis gets on.
I think this goes to show you what the Cardinal staff feels about Aramis Ramirez. You have a base open, but you have a lefty and Fukudome, and they're pitching Aramis awfully carefully.
The kick and the 3-0 just outside.
That was about as close to the intentional, unintentional walk as you're going to find right there. Kosuke Fukudome, you know, the scouting report, he hasn't been the same hitter the last 4 to 5 weeks. Early part of April and May, he was swinging the bat very well. And I think what you see, you're seeing opposing teams, scouting reports, scouts that are following the team. They've got a pretty good idea how to pitch Fukudome. And until he makes the adjustments in return, he's going to see a lot of hard fastballs in early in the count to get him off the plate, hard up and in, soft off-speed pitches away.
Terrio at second. Ramirez at first, a 1-1 tie in the 3rd inning. Kosuke with one of his 8 home runs coming against Braden Looper. That was in St. Louis. Gobbled up by Pujols. He'll take it unassisted, and that's the inning. Cubs have stranded 4 through the first 3. It's a 1-1 tie.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year-End event with a fuel-efficient 08 Chevy. Like the 08 Malibu LS with an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway. Qualified lessees with a current TMAC lease get a low-mileage lease on this 08 Malibu LS for around $259 a month. Call for details. Log on now to ChevyDealer.com.
Get on the fast track to your dreams with AT&T Advanced TV, which offers a wide selection of programming and more HD channels than cable. AT&T UVerse TV lets you record up to 4 shows at once on one DVR, unlike cable. Up to 120 hours of programming. You can even get up to $100 cash back on qualifying combined TV and internet plans. Or double your cash back and get up to $200 when you order online.
Are you working on your research?
Of course.
AT&T is a proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.
Introducing generic prescriptions for less than $1 a week at Walgreens. For less than $1 a week on more than 400 generics. Get big savings on over 5,000 other generic and name brand prescriptions.
We joined and saved on John's prescription. It wasn't covered by our insurance plan.
Plus, we earn a 10% reward when we buy Walgreens brand products.
Stop by today to see how much you'll save and get $50 in free coupons. The Prescription Savings Club, only at Walgreens.
Friday at Chicago Tribune Live, Todd Hollingsworth joins us as we break down the I-55 rivalry between the Cubs and Cardinals, and we preview the fiery matchup between the Sox and Bo Sox. We'll hear from Eli Manning as well. All that and more Friday at 5:30.
Time now for the Aflac trivia question. 20th anniversary of the first night game here at Wrigley Field under the lights. What was the average price of a gallon of gas in the United States in 1988? I'm guessing it wasn't like $4.29.
I'm guessing you're right.
It'll be Pujols leading off the fourth for the Cardinals, and he looks at strike one.
Good pitch. First pitch, straight changeup by Ted Lilly.
A wind and the 0-1. Deep drive to left, but Soriano's going to have room. Every time Pujols hits a fly ball, you worry. That one stayed in, one out.
You know, it's difficult because you have a pregame meeting and you go over a team, and there's usually one guy in the lineup that you tell yourself before the game, okay, we're not going to allow this guy to beat us. But it puts you sometimes almost in a defensive mode as a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher. I think there's a time and a place where you're going to give in, and I still believe that the toughest thing to do in sports, Len, is to hit a round ball with a round bat and hit it square. You try not to give an opposing hitter too much credit. I think there's a time and a place where you have to be aggressive. You get deeper on into the game, and you stay away from a guy like an Albert Pujols.
Ludwig with a high rainbow out towards Soriano again. This one not as deep. You saw Pujols' swing. He hit it off the end of his bat. If it had caught the sweet spot, I think it would be 2-1.
You know, pitching is so much about confidence, about believing in your stuff, throwing strike one, not being afraid to get hit. Now, I think even in a bat like that to Albert Pujols has to make Ted Lilly feel really good about the way he's throwing the ball today. He's attacking the strike zone early, using all of his pitches. His fastball, he's touched 88, 89. He's throwing it in and out, using that big curve ball. He has to feel pretty good about himself. This is about as well as he's thrown all year right now going into this fourth inning.
Loss asking for time before an 0-1 pitch. Our good friend Ed Hardig pointing out, technically August 8th, 1988, or actually August 9th, when the first full game was played, was not the first night game played by the Cubs here. In 1943, they played a game at 6 o'clock in late June. And under current Major League rules, it would be considered a night game. There's nothing in the rules that say lights are necessary for it to be a night game. They called it a twilight game back in 1943. And that was against the St. Louis Cardinals. And June 25th was chosen because it's one of the longest daylight days of the year. 1-2.
Good pitch there by Ted Lilly. You see him do this quite a bit, where he'll throw that fastball into a right-hander and try that backdoor slider where he'll start it about 3 or 4 inches off the outside corner and bring it back on the corner. A very effective pitch.
Another fly to left. F7, F7, F7. And an 8-pitch inning for Ted Lilly. He's been efficient all day. He's in a 1-1 tie with Braden Looper and the Cardinals.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Dames en heren, we gaan beginnen!
exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
This is a public announcement to all car buyers interested in buying the vehicle of their choice for a fraction of its original factory list price and get 2.9% APR financing. The David Bruce Auto Center in Bourbonnais is conducting this first-time ever sales event. Row after row of low-mileage trade-ins of every description, including many low-mileage, high-MPG Toyotas traded during David Bruce's 10 event. We've got the cars, and we're ready to sell regardless of profit, so be ready to buy. David Bruce's Car Buyers Sales Event.
All right, Dan, you got to take a shot at this. The average price of a gallon of gas in 1988.
I'm going to say $1.65.
Okay, sounds good to me. Wow. $1.08. I thought it would have been more. Harry Grossman turned on the lights. That was before it rained. Harry, 91 years old, Cubs fan since 1905. He flipped the switch as Giovanni Soto starts the bottom of the fourth. Ball one. Gary Pressey played "You Light Up My Life." It was the first song he played that evening. I saw Gary before the game in the press box. I said, "You going to play that again just for old time's sake?" He said, "Absolutely." So I'm assuming Gary played that during batting practice. So that night, the Phillies were here, along with Morgana, a kissing bandit. The first official completed game was the next night. Cubs beat the Mets 6-4. And the guy who got the save will handle the stretch today, Goose Gossage. Hit hard and through the hole on the left side for a base hit for Soto. Time now for the Coors Light freeze can. Jim Edmonds with his first career homer against the St. Louis Cardinals. He knew it was out. A little bat flip toward the visitors' dugout. Quick glance maybe at Tony La Russa.
The old, I think I just hit one a long way, and take that, Redbirds.
So here's Jim again. That turned them away. Ball one. Ground ball, and it's Pujols from his knees. And they turn the 3-6-3 double play.
Well, one of the things, Len, that Albert Pujols does not get enough credit for, he is a very, very good defensive first baseman. This is not an easy play. See, from his knees, and throws a perfect strike to Torres. Very underrated defensively. Brings a lot to the table besides that big, huge bat that he carries with him.
Now it's Mark DeRosa with 2 outs. Slices it foul. Huge crowd as always, but maybe a little extra buzz in the audience as we got started today. Well, Albert did win a Gold Glove in 2006, a high-speed shutter cam. As they turn the 3-6-3. Looper wants to start over. Over his last 15 outings against the Cubs, not all of them have been starts. But Looper 3-2 with a 1.35 earned run average. 6th career start against the Cubs. 38th appearance, 3-4 with 4 saves and a 2.39. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the Cubs are done in the 4th. It's 1-1 as we head to the 5th.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. Right now, lease the best-selling car in America, the 31-mile-per-gallon rated Camry LE, for just $199 a month, or get $500 cash back. Or get a new 2008 Sienna with 0% financing for 60 months, or $1,800 cash back. Great deals on great vehicles. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
If you need to tow it, Quad City Spring has it. Quad City Spring is the area's suspension, spring, truck accessory, and towing experts. From goosenecks and fifth wheels to every kind of hitch imaginable, including Blue Ox base plates and tow bars, strong as an ox. And Quad City Spring installs and services everything they sell. So tow it right. Get your ride to Quad City Spring. Quad City Spring, 34th Street at River Drive in Moline.
Adding in a color? Let's start with some idea cards. That'll get you the right one.
We're here because we've been there with the tools, products, and advice to get it done right. True Value. Start right, start here.
Get the right products and expert advice for your next painting project at K&K True Value. Start right, start here.
Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet. Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work, and by the Toyota Tundra. Visit whytundra.com to find out why the Toyota Tundra is a great way to keep moving forward.
Voting for the finalists in the ultimate 7th inning stretch competition is going on now. Visit Cubs.com and help determine who you think should sing the 7th inning stretch at the Cubs game on September 1st. New videos are being posted daily, with each day producing a new finalist. So don't forget to keep visiting Cubs.com and vote for who you think deserves the title of Ultimate Cubs Fan. Yadier Molina fouls back. Good pitchers duel today with a wind blowing in. Braden Looper and Ted Lilly.
Boy, both pitchers, Len, really attacking the strike zone early on. Hitters going up there knowing that they're going to have to go up there and swing the bat and not fall behind 0-1. Ted Lilly throwing the ball extremely well so far.
Yeah, he's only missed on the first pitch to a batter twice.
In the last couple of innings, he's starting to use his fastball a little bit more now. And I think what you'll see, you know, it's about speeding hitters up, slowing bats down. Hitters go through the lineup one time, get a pretty good idea that he's going to go to some off-speed pitches. He's kind of doing the little bit of the reversal now. Now he might buy himself a little bit extra space with his soft breaking stuff.
His 0-2 to Molina is golfed foul. Some birthday wishes this weekend. Big birthday coming up tomorrow for Aubrey Jean Waterman. That's from Mom Janae Lynn. And also Kristen Mizwicki. That's from your husband Michael, daughter Margaret, son Michael. Hope you have a great birthday weekend. Also happy belated 83rd birthday wishes to June Judd as Molina strikes out. June Judd from South Bend, Indiana, lifelong Cubs fan. Happy 83rd.
Real good straight changeup there on that last pitch from Ted Lilly. Here you see this pitch down and in. It's got a little bit of down and away action. But as always, what set that pitch up was the fastball that he threw into Molina. The pitch before that, making him aware of the ball in. You see that front side start to come open. It's just, pitching is really about adding and subtracting. Once again, getting ahead, strike one. Best pitch in baseball is strike one.
So that's 14 out of 16 first pitch strikes for Ted Lilly. His tourist batting right-handed against the lefty. He recently went exclusively to the right side. That was in late July. Did it for just a handful of games before returning to switch hitting. He came in hitting .293 right-handed, just .207 from the left side. In the dirt, 1-2.
One of the things, Ted, particularly the second half of the season last year, when he had a lot of counts like this one here, 1 ball, 2 strikes, no balls, 2 strikes, he would cut his fastball up and in and really tie up a right-handed hitter. Be interesting to see here if he tries maybe that backdoor breaking ball, that slider.
Laced foul.
You often hear a term with pitchers, the Texas two-step. You know, slow, slow, fast, 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 slow. He's got a couple of off-speed pitches here. Might not be a bad time right now to try to pop a fastball in the inside corner.
Left center, Soriano will have to chase it down. Edmonds back there as well. It'll be Jim to pick it up. But as Torres has a 1-out double, throw gets by everybody. And that's going to allow his Torres to get to third base. That throw went by about 3 different Cubs. Well, you had DeRosa, you had Lilly, Derek Lee. Eventually, Giovanni Soto had to go get the ball. You had half the team going after that throw.
Well, this right here is so important. Jim Edmonds going to get this ball right here, and it just takes a bad short hop on DeRosa. Ted Lilly backing it up, and it gets through both Ted Lilly and Derek Lee.
Wait, look at this. You have Terrio, DeRosa, Lilly, Derek Lee. Dan, I have never seen a play quite like that.
Unfortunately for the Cubs, you see the short hop on Mark DeRosa, but then he kind of misdirected the ball to Ted Lilly, who then blocked the view of Derek Lee. So the Cardinals are in business here.
So there'll be a throwing error on Edmonds, allowing his Torres to get an extra base, a double and an error. And it's Braden Looper, the pitcher, with the infield in. Looper's just going to try to make any sort of contact.
This is one of the few times as a pitcher that you try to get greedy here and almost pitch to try to get yourself a strikeout if you can. If the count presents itself, you get ahead. Ted Lilly falling behind right here, but if you can get this count to 1 ball, 2 strike, try to go for the kill, to go for the strikeout.
The kick and the 1-0. 1-1.
But it's so important as a pitcher to not get too far ahead of yourself, because you can't strike Braden Looper out till you get that second strike. You have to really keep your concentration here. If you're going to throw an off-speed pitch, a breaking ball, really try to get this ball down in the strike zone.
Lilly ready, has a sign from Soto. Squeeze, and they snuff it out as Soto tags his Torres. Looper missed the baseball. Tough pitch to bunt. They tried the suicide squeeze, and his Torres is nailed.
That is one of the dangers when you put the squeeze play on. You have to really have a pretty good idea as a manager that whoever you have up there can get that ball down, and that really is not the fault of Braden Looper right there. That was nearly an impossible pitch for him to get down.
It's a caught stealing 2 unassisted and almost an impossible pitch to bunt.
You see a breaking ball down and in. He was lucky. Ted Lilly caught a break here that he didn't hit Looper with this pitch, or St. Louis may have had first and third and 1 out.
No play for Kosuke.
You know, there are times as a pitcher, a properly executed squeeze bunt is nearly impossible to defend, particularly with the left-handed pitcher, Ted Lilly, because he doesn't have the ability to be able to read the runner at third base. A lot of times what will happen if you're a left-hander, you come up into your delivery and you're hearing the infielders yell, here he's going. You rarely, this has happened before, where you have no choice but to go ahead and intentionally try to hit the hitter.
Foul tip, strikeout. So Tony La Russa took a little bit of a risk with a pitcher at the plate. The squeeze doesn't work, and we remain tied 1-1.
The Chicago Cubs strongly encourage the use of public transportation. The CTA offers a variety of options, including the Red Line, which stops right at Wrigley Field at the Edison station. If you must drive, try the remote parking operation at DeVry University, located near the Edison and Rockwell intersection. The remote lot offers parking and an express bus for just $6. For more details, call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000 or visit Cubs.com.
Watch this. Hey, Sling Dog! Yo!
Looking for a quick lunch?
How about Chili's? Welcome to Chili's.
Pepper in a quick break with Chili's Bottomless Express Lunch. Dig into our famous house-made chips and salsa. Enjoy our hot, tasty soups like chicken enchilada and choice of Caesar or house salad with unlimited refills. When you're starved for time, it's the perfect meal. Chili's. Pepper in some Express Lunch. Pepper in some fun.
People think the terms SUV and fuel economy don't mix. The truth is, the GMC Acadia crossover has an EPA estimated 24 highway MPG. That's better than a Honda Pilot. It's also better than Mazda CX-9. Look it up. Plus, get the best coverage in America.
Qualified buyers now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months plus $750 purchase bonus cash on any 2008 GMC Acadia. See your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
Time now for a Buick Pontiac GMC Sports Update.
Hey everybody, Josh Moore here in our downtown Chicago studios. We have a huge day of baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We've got this game going on, and as soon as it goes final, you'll want to keep it here for Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. And then later tonight, we shift our focus to the south side. The White Sox host the defending world champion Boston Red Sox. That comes your way with first pitch at 7:11. Now let's go back to Len and Dan. Guys?
Well, Josh, a 1-1 tie. The starting pitchers have dominated, and the Cubs coming up with a big play as they were able to get Izturis on the suicide squeeze.
Well, that was a huge play, and it's a tough play with a left-handed pitcher because you're not able to see how far that base runner's off. Fortunately, the Cubs caught a break. If that ball would have hit Braden Looper, we could have had first and third and one out.
All right, so Ted Lilly will lead things off here in the bottom of the fifth. Each team with a solo home run. Edmonds for the Cubs, Mather for the Cardinals. Cubs with a best home record in baseball coming in at 43-16. The Cardinals have the second best road mark in all of baseball at 31-25. Lilly taps it. Looper gets off the mound quickly. He'll take it by himself. Wouldn't want to risk a bad throw. One out. And back to the top and Alfonso Soriano. Well, Bob and I have talked so much about this consistent lineup 1 through 8. And when Carlos Zambrano's been in there 1 through 9, some of the other Cubs starting pitchers have done a nice job at the plate. When you think about their lineup today, Edmonds batting 7th. Mark DeRosa with 8 RBIs his last 2 games. He's hitting 8th. I think it was Gordon Wittenmeyer who made this point in the Sun-Times the other day that has given Soriano, the leadoff man, more RBI opportunities.
Oh, this is a bold statement, but I really think the approach that this Cub team has taken offensively is about as good as I've seen since the mid to late 90s, the New York Yankees, when they had Derek Jeter, Posada, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams. Very patient, work deep counts, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
A fly to left as Izturis is shortstop way out there, and he'll take it. And what that also does, Dan, is it allows you to have a guy like Soriano at the top of your order who will strike out occasionally, will be aggressive in the count, but he's come up so often with runners on base, pitchers have been forced to have to throw him strikes.
When you're facing a guy like Soriano, you know, the luxury, almost like an Albert Pujols, with nobody on base, you can be a little bit careful. Now, you're talking about Soriano when he comes up first and second, 1 out, first and third, 1 out. He has good speed, so he's not a real good candidate to hit into a lot of double plays. And what makes him so dangerous is the pitch that he hits best is something low, and most pitchers are trained when you're in trouble, keep the ball down and try to induce the ground balls. And what you are doing with a guy like Soriano, you're playing right into his strength, which is a good low down and in ball hitter. And conventional thinking as a pitcher, You don't want to pitch up in the strike zone, and that's a dangerous thing to do with a man on third and 1 out or nobody out. You're trying to induce the ground ball, and when he's swinging well, he can get to that high fastball, and he can cover the pitch that is really down low.
And he's a low ball, fly ball hitter, as you said, doesn't hit into a lot of double plays. Much of what he hits ends up being in the air.
And you and Bob have touched on this so many times. When you have a patient team like this team has been, it serves so many purposes. One, as a hitter, you're enabled to see more than 1 or 2 pitches in at a bat.
This will be Ludwig to retire Ryan Theriot. So Looper sent down 5 straight since Soto leadoff single in the 4th. Still 1-1.
Southwest Airlines presents a lesson on low fares.
Alrighty, let's see. Well, no big difference there. Guess it doesn't matter who I choose. Whoa, $25 second check bag fee. Well, that's kind of par for the $15 first check bag fee. What? Whoa. Well, $20 aisle seat fee. Oh, no. I'm not paying that.
At Southwest Airlines, what you see is what you pay. Book your next flight on southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Quiet on the set. Take 73. Hello out there in TV land. Save your false laughter. Very popular. Whoa, get your foot off the fogger. Okay, here we go with another ho-ho.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
After the game, stay tuned for Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. Analysis with Dan Plesac. Highlights, press conferences, and interviews from the stadium. Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. After the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Tonight going to be a slugfest on the south side as Jermaine Dye and the Sox battle David Ortiz and the defending World Series champs, the Boston Red Sox. Don't miss the Sox and the Sox in HD tonight at 7 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. John Lester and Mark Burley will be the pitchers tonight. What a weekend of baseball here in Chicago. A check down at third, Brian O'Nora said. Skip Schumacher held up. 1 ball, no strikes. Only matinee in the major leagues. Everything else is under the lights. I guess that's the irony of the 20th anniversary of the first night game. This is the only day game in baseball.
This is a big hitter right here for Ted Diller. You have Albert Pujols creeping down. He's 4 hitters away. And we touched about trying to face Albert with nobody on base. And if Ted can get through this inning, 1, 2, 3, force Albert Pujols to lead off the next inning.
And a base hit past Theriot and into left. And it is the first time today the Cardinals have put the leadoff man on. And it brings up Joe Mather, the left fielder. Got a nice note from Bridget La Rochelle. Her grandmother, Bernice Ettenmiller, never misses a game on television. And for her birthday, she received tickets to the Cubs-Cardinals game today. So after 80 years, Bernice Ettenmiller, or Eitenmiller, I should say, finally gets to come to Wrigley Field. So welcome to Wrigley and happy birthday to Bernice Eitenmiller. She couldn't have picked a better day.
Cubs, Cardinals, team in first place. Beautiful day here at the ballpark.
Mather went deep back in the third inning, his 6th homer of the season. Ted behind him, 2 balls, no strikes. The next one from Lilly, big pitch, 2-1.
You know, getting back to how important strike one is, what it does to it also ties the opposing manager's hands if you have strike one. Now you're in a count right here where Tony La Russa may elect to try a little bit of hit and run. You know, getting in hitters' counts enables a manager to be able to do some things, to put on a straight steal, try a hit and run.
Another base hit, this one out in the left center. Schumacher's going to try to get to third base. Here's a throw from Soriano. Safe. Ooh, really close. Excellent throw by Soriano. Unfortunately, because they didn't get Schumacher, now it's second and third because Mather moved up an extra base on that throw.
That was really a good job of base running by Schumacher, but it does help when you're at first base where the play's in front of you. A real good aggressive slide, and he does beat the throw into third base, but did a real good job thinking third base right as that ball was hit.
And a heads-up base running maneuver by Mather to get the second on the throw to third. So the cornermen will play in. The Cubs will concede the go-ahead run on a ground ball up the middle. They're trying to avoid a huge inning, especially with Pujols on deck, and then Ludwig behind him.
Oh, this is another scenario right here, as if Ted Lilly can get ahead, to get greedy from a standpoint of try to get a strikeout here with the base open, will be a perfect time to intentionally walk Albert Pujols. You'll have the bases loaded with 1 out. You're 1 pitch away with the possibility of getting out of this with a double play.
The 0-1 to Kennedy, in on the hands, 0-2. Dan, this would seem to be the perfect example of protection in the lineup. As you said, even with first base open, Adam Kennedy knows he's going to get a pitch to hit in this at bat.
Particularly that last pitch could have served a really good purpose, a fastball that he ran up and in on Adam Kennedy. And now as a pitcher, you've made a hitter aware of the ball in. Now you can go ahead and try something. Here you see this fastball up and in, really ties up Adam Kennedy. And as a hitter right now, you're in a survival mode. No balls and 2 strikes. You could go up and high and up with a fastball, or try a good hard tight something breaking down and in. This is a good shot to try to go for a strikeout.
Here it comes. Ground ball, and that'll get the run in as the Cardinals take their first lead 2-1. Kennedy not only gets Schumacher to the plate, he moves Mather to third base. So that's the 2-for-1 ground out.
Well, that's just a good piece of hitting right there by Adam Kennedy. Not a bad pitch. Not a bad pitch by Ted Lilly. Giovanni Soto setting down and in. This ball did run back a little bit over the plate. He was just strong enough to fist this ball to the right side.
And now with a couple of bases open, Ted Lilly wants no part of Albert Pujols. But we talked about Ludwig, who's on deck. He has hit in 10 straight coming in. He's 0 for 2 today, but yesterday snapped a 5-game home run streak.
Well, this is the right move right here. With the conditions the way they are, the wind blowing in, Braden Looper throwing the ball extremely well right now. The last thing you want to do is give Albert Pujols, there really isn't a pitch that he can't cover, to give him a cheap RBI. Try, if you can, to keep this to a 1-run game.
And I think it's safe to say, when you look at the Cardinals and what they've been able to accomplish offensively, they're 3rd in the National League in runs. You know what you can expect from Albert Pujols in a particular year, but the key to their season might be the guy at the plate.
Oh, there's
Ryan Ludwig, the all-star.
Yeah, you can have a guy in the lineup, and similar, you go back 3 or 4 years, how important it was for the Giants to have somebody hitting in front of or behind Barry Bonds. If you don't have somebody to protect a hitter like a Pujols or a Bonds, he's going to see nothing during the course of the game to hit.
1st and 3rd, here we go. Ball 1. 1 too high to Ludwig.
This right here is a situation, if you're Ted Lilly, to try to throw with the percentages in your favor the best you can, something that you can get Ludwig to induce to try to hit the ball on the ground.
Lilly will toss to first, sending Pujols back. Albert hasn't run a whole lot this year, but he's been pretty good when he has. He's 6 out of 7 in stolen base attempts. Cardinals don't run that much. 52 steals coming in, 11th in the league. The 1-0 is in there for a strike. First time they've met up here. Cubs and Cardinals 3-3 in the season series. All those previous games at Busch Stadium. Ludwig with 29 home runs. Troy Gloss on deck has 19 homers, but he's 0 for 26 on the year against the Cubs. Three and 1. So the Cubs with 3 wins and 6 tries in St. Louis. Much better earned run average, over a run better. Game 7 of this season series. These two teams will play 15 times in all.
This is a real big pitch here by Ted Lilly. He's gone deep into the count with his off-speed pitches.
And they are loaded up.
You know, that's not such a bad thing right there. Len, you're just in just as much trouble as a pitcher. First and third, when you're trying to just keep the runs to a minimum, 1 run. You're still in a situation right now with the bases loaded. You're a ground ball away from getting out of this with 1 pitch. And a lot of times you'll see younger pitchers panic in a situation like that. 3 balls, 1 strike, first and third. I have to throw a strike. You're in just as much trouble first and third as you are with the bases loaded.
Well, I think the key here for Ted is Larry Rothschild is out to chat with him. Well, he has walked the last 2 hitters, one time intentionally. And then to Ludwig, he was very careful as Chad Godin gets up in the Cubs bullpen, is that he can get back to being that strike throwing machine he was early in the game. And as you said, get that first pitch over in this at bat.
And you have a hitter up here in Troy Glaus, who's going to be up there in an aggressive swinging mode. He doesn't run particularly well for a big guy. This would be the ideal time if he could induce a ground ball for a potential inning double play.
Big spot here. Cardinals lead 2-1, bases loaded, ball 1 just off the outside edge. Gloss is 2 for 11 with a double and a grand slam with the bases loaded this season. Cubs want to turn 2 and get out of this inning. High in the air to left. Soriano with the flip downs. Mather tagging. Here comes a throw toward home plate. In time. Got him. His 6th outfield assist of the season. And he keeps it a 2-1 game. A 1-bounce strike to Giovanni Soto. It's 2-1.
So I can pick any 5 of those items for just $5.95.
Yes, sir. They're all classics.
What about an Arby's Melt soft drink, mozzarella sticks, curly fries, and a Jamocha shake?
$5.95.
What about fries, an Arby's Melt, mozzarella sticks, a turnover, and a Jamocha shake?
$5.95.
What about 3 Arby's Melts, 1 mozzarella sticks?
And a Jamocha shake?
No, thank you. I'll have 5 curly fries.
The Arby's Pick 5 for $5.95 deal. So amazing, it'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Tonight, an America League battle explodes on the South Side as the White Sox collide with the defending World Series champions, the Boston Red Sox in HD, followed by U.S. Cellular White Sox Postgame Live. White Sox Red Sox in HD tonight at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's color made simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
If it's got a motor, that's our slogan here at Clinton Motor Works. And if it's got a motor, we service it and fix it the right way. We promise to show you why your vehicle needs what it needs before we fix a thing. Make sure your car is ready for the upcoming summer with an air conditioning system check and all the maintenance necessary to get the best fuel economy. We use only the best parts and have only the best people to install them. Motorcycles, get them to us now. Let's get them ready to ride. For your next routine maintenance or complete overhaul, we'll see you soon at Clinton Motor Works.
If it's got a motor.
Watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, what a great play by Alfonso Soriano. A huge play, but this play was really made on the setup. He started back, caught the ball with his momentum, a perfect strike, and a great block of home by Giovanni Soto. Terrific play.
Cardinals did get the lead. They had a chance to get their third run of the day and keep that inning alive. And Soriano with his cannon from left, his 6th assist. And it's Derek Lee here against Braden Looper inside. Well, that's a play in which Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, really has to send the runner. It takes almost a perfect throw to get him. And that's exactly what Soriano delivered. Meanwhile, 3-0 on D. Lee.
Especially when you're in a position that the Cardinals are in, you're up by a run, you've got a chance to take it. It was going to take a really good throw, a near perfect throw, which it was, and a great block of home by Giovanni Soto.
Ramirez and Fukudome to follow here in the 6th inning. In the air, and this sends Ludwig back near the warning track, both feet on the dirt, and he has it. As you said, Dan, he had all kinds of time, was in a great throwing position. And the way Soriano throws the ball from the outfield, he's not over the top. He almost has that sinker. He kind of throws the ball toward the first base side, and it usually tails right back to the plate.
I think a lot of the way he throws and the style he throws is because coming up with the Yankees being a second baseman, you're making a lot of throws going towards second base, throwing across your body, going up the middle, throwing more from a 3/4 motion as a straight over the top motion.
The 1-0 pitch to Aramis is a strike.
As Bob always says, he doesn't care how you get it there, just get it there.
Any outfield assist to the plate is a good one. Way up in the air on the infield right side. And it's Pujols for the second out. Braden Looper coming in over his last 3 starts with a .237 earned run average, but 2 losses. That's because he didn't get much run support. The game he won, the Cardinals scored 12 runs for him in Atlanta. A roller right to his Tourist. This will be an easy 1-2-3 for Braden Looper. It's a 9-pitch 6th inning. It's 2-1.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year-End event. Trade up to Cobalt XFE with better standard highway fuel economy than Corolla and Civic. Get $1,500 total purchase cash on most 2008 Chevy Cobalt models. See your local Chevy dealer.
Chicago Tribune Live. Presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. Tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
MGD 64.
I'll have a vodka cranberry 64.
12 ounces, 64 calories. MGD 64. As light as it gets.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean, you feel it. That's why Pennzoil Motor Oil is specially formulated with active cleansing agents to clean out up to 15% of sludge in the first oil change. And a cleaner engine just feels better. So change with Pennzoil and feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Sports Night. Tonight on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. This August, the temperature is rising as action heats up on Comcast Sportsnet. Derek Lee and the Cubs look to stay on top of the Central Division standings.
Throw to the plate. Save! Cubs win!
The White Sox square off with some of the AL's elite, including the Tigers, Rays, and Red Sox. And every night, Chicago Tribune Live and Sports Night have the latest news and interviews from Bears training camp. It's all happening this August, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
On Tuesday, August 19th, the Cubs host the Reds at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs home cap, compliments of Pepsi and the Museum of Science and Industry.
Edmonds coming on. He'll lay out. He has it. Shoestring catch for Edmonds as he robs Molina of a leadoff hit. He can still go get him out there. Doesn't have the foot speed he once had, but if he's in the vicinity, Dan, he's going to catch it.
Well, you know, one of the things, Len, good pitching and good defense go hand in hand. The Cubs defense drastically improved from last season, and it just gives your pitching staff such a tremendous boost to know that if you throw the ball over the plate, let them put it in play, and you're going to make the plays behind it.
The strike on is Torres. Up the middle and a base hit. His second straight hit. And he is now 8 for his last 15. And Braden Looper's been strong on the mound, so he'll take his at bat here in the 7th. He's been efficient, 78 pitches through 6. Ted Lilly has also been efficient. He hasn't yet reached the 80-pitch mark.
There's a pretty good chance here that Tony La Russa is going to try to put a sacrifice bunt down here to try to get Torres into scoring position.
And Ramirez thinking the same thing, as he is already way in at third and ready to charge. Last time Looper was at the plate, they tried the suicide squeeze with his Torres at third, and Looper missed the pitch. Derek will tag him. That's a sacrifice.
That's just one of the ways, particularly in the National League as a starting pitcher, that you could do some things other than throwing the baseball to help yourself. A good bunt, he gets the ball down, makes Derek Lee field the ball, able to get his Torres into scoring position at second base.
Goose Gossage coming up with our 7th inning stretch, as DeRosa will charge, and they got him. Schumacher with a dive, but that's out number 3. Time to sing the stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cub and 2008 Hall of Fame inductee, Goose Gossage.
All right, everybody. Hey, here we go on a 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Find me some
This is a public announcement to all car buyers interested in buying the vehicle of their choice for a fraction of its original factory list price and get 2.9% APR financing. The David Bruce Auto Center in Bourbonnais is conducting this first-time ever sales event. Row after row of low-mileage trade-ins of every description, including many low-mileage, high-MPG Toyotas traded during David Bruce's 10 event. We've got the cars, and we're ready to sell regardless of profit, so be ready to buy. David Bruce's Car Buyers Sales Event.
Hey Cubs fans, are you looking to get tickets to the hottest Cubs games this year? Visit Cubs.com and click on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of Cubs.com. Don't miss all the fun and excitement at the friendly confines with StubHub. There's always a ticket available to a Cubs game.
When this hotel added Aflac to complement their benefits package, it made a big splash with the employees. Find out more at forbusiness.com.
Chicago Tribune Live, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. Tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Rich Goose Gossage, a Hall of Famer, is with us in the booth as the Cubs bat in the bottom of the 7th. Giovanni Soto takes ball one inside. First of all, Goose, congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. What was the weekend like here recently?
Whew, I can't put it into words. I still haven't come to grips with it. It's the most amazing weekend I've ever spent anywhere in my life. Outside of the birth of my 3 boys, man, that was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
When did it really hit you this year that you were a Hall of Famer, or has it still not quite hit you?
I don't think it's ever going to hit me. I've never really been able to comprehend my career. All I wanted to do was put a big league uniform on one time, and 22 years later, and I tried to look back on my career, and I watched ball games like this, and I can't believe I did this. And Dan, I'm sure you kind of think along the same way.
Was there anybody in your career that you look back now, a pitching coach or a manager, that had really a significant impact in having you understand what you were doing, going about the way you prepared to pitch, how to pitch, what to do?
Well, certainly I had some great coaching early on, and I thanked all of them in Cooperstown on my induction speech. But I had a great coach in Ray Berry's, an old catcher that was with me down in rookie league when I first signed with the White Sox, and then I ran into a guy by the name of Johnny Sane, an amazing pitching coach. He was way ahead of his time when I ran into him, and then Chuck Tanner and Johnny. These guys had tremendous influences on my career, along with the great hitter who taught me how to pitch from a great hitter's standpoint, and the man of Dick Allen. So I was very lucky at the juncture in my career to run into these guys.
Soto struck out to start the inning as Edmonds fouls back. Today's the 20th anniversary of what was supposed to be the first ever night game under the lights here at Wrigley Field. That game ended up being rained out. You got to save the next night in the official first night game. Do you have any memorabilia from that particular night?
No, I don't, and it's amazing that I happen to be here on this date.
Yeah, how about that?
In history. So the things that have happened to me along this trip has been my kind of journey since I was elected in January. So lots of weird things have happened to me. It's kind of been out of a body situation, you know.
Does it feel strange sounding your name, Goose Gossage, HOF?
Oh, very, very much so, Dan. Yeah, that hasn't registered yet, and sometimes I wake up and just wonder, did this really happen? And but I was never so happy to have my speech over with. I've been dreading that ever since the election, and to stand up in front of all those guys, and then in front of all those guys behind you, and then all the fans that show up at Cooperstown, it was frightening. But I did okay, and you know, I was just mostly from the heart, and thanked all the people that I needed to thank. And one guy that I've failed to think about or remember was Willie Stargell, but I knew somebody'd get left out. He was a tremendous teammate of mine, and I'm sorry that I left him off in my speech.
That's to left, and it's deep for Edmonds, and they have tied it. Jim Edmonds with 2 home runs today as Mather ran out of room. Against his former team, he has gone deep twice.
Well, that's proof that he still has a lot left because he hit that ball into the teeth of the wind in left field. What a terrific day for Jim Edmonds.
Well, Goose, you played for 22 years. I'm sure you had many chances to face former teams. There's nothing quite like that feeling right there, is there?
Oh, absolutely not. And playing in front of these fans, I had the privilege of playing here 1 year only, but I gave up a few of those home runs here. But
bad feelings, aren't they?
You know, it's one of those things where I said I had the kind of career that even the home runs were great. So playing here in front of these, God, these are the best fans. I was over at Comiskey last night. That was amazing. And to be here today and throw out the first pitch and now to sing the Harry song, it's just something else. It's one thing right after another.
And again, today's curtain call sponsored by Jim Edmonds, the fourth Cub to take a curtain call on this homestand. We've seen Reed Johnson, Alfonso Soriano, Mark DeRosa, and now Jim Edmonds. 28 two-homer game for Jim Edmonds. And a 1-2 to DeRosa is buried in the dirt. Got to ask you about your former teammate, the Cubs skipper Lou Piniella. You get a chance to talk to Lou today?
Oh, yeah, it's always great to see Lou. I had the privilege of playing with him. He was a great baseball player, tremendous player, and great clutch hitter, great clutch performer.
Mark DeRosa goes to left. Mathers on the track. This one's going to stay in. 2 down.
Wow. And then I had the privilege of playing for him my last year in '94. So
what was that like?
That was crazy. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did you ever get called into the office?
Yeah, I did. We did as a pitching staff. So, yeah, it was quite interesting. But he gave me the opportunity to continue my career, and then the strike got us late that year in August. But you know, something was going to get me, and you know, I just kind of faded into the sunset. But 9 teams later, in 22 years, it's incredible that I sit up here and watch these ball games and just, you know, did I really do that? As I said before. So
after you get out, and I know for me, you have much more of appreciation for what you did and the guys that you played with. Once you remove yourself from it for a few years and you look back and you say, what a great time it was.
Well, it was just another out-of-body experience. All I wanted to do was put a big league uniform on one time, and then I find myself 22 years later having the kind of career, and then people starting to talk about possibly a Hall of Fame career. Waiting 9 years, I think it even made it that much sweeter. I can't imagine going in on the first ballot and having it feel as sweet, because when you're, you know, something was out of my control, but the writers would call me and I'd get excited and then just to be disappointed. But you know, it was one thing we learned, Dan, in this game is don't try to control the things that are out of your control.
Well, Goose, I think the best way to really to honor your Hall of Fame induction is Jim Edmonds just tied the game with a big home run. Is Jeff Samardzija got a 2-inning save the day you went into the Hall of Fame.
Well, awesome. You know, it's amazing. All I ever tried to do is say, hey, please don't compare me with these guys today. I'd have got 3 salaries, you know, the setups and the closers. So pleasure talking to you guys.
Congratulations. Edmonds tied it with his second home run. It's 2-2.
People think certain cars can't compete. Truth is, Pontiac has 3 cars that offer 30 highway MPG or better, each under 20 grand. G5 XFE has better highway fuel economy than Honda Civic. G6 has better combined fuel efficiency than Honda Accord for 2 grand less. The 09 Vibe is the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class. Look it up. Plus, get the best coverage in America.
See your local Buick, Pontiac, GMC dealer.
Dames en heren, we gaan beginnen!
exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. Come in now and get great deals on SUVs like the sporty RAV4. Lease one for just $199 a month. Or lease the family-friendly 2008 Highlander. Get one now for just $299 a month. Or get a 2008 4Runner with low 0% APR financing for an amazing 60 months. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
Two-two. Now the Sharp Aquas game-changing plays. Remember the suicide squeeze? It didn't work out. That was back in the 5th inning, and then Soriano to end the 6th after the Cardinals had taken a 2-1 lead. He nails Mather at home plate, and that allowed Jim Edmonds to tie it up with a solo blast in the bottom of the 7th. So we're in a 2-2 deadlock as Mather will lead off the Cardinal 8th. Thanks to Bruce Gossage for joining us. Terrio snags it. That would have been Mather's 3rd hit. Nicely done, Ryan Terrio. Well, the defense has come up big here. Cubs did commit an error earlier on that wild throw back to the infield by Edmonds, but several big plays on defense since.
Well, when you're throwing strikes early on, your defensive players, it seems like they're on the balls of their feet. They're anticipating the ball being put into play. Cubs playing terrific behind Ted Lilly.
Breaking ball strike on Adam Kennedy. Carlos Marmol is up in the Cubs bullpen. No one's going to catch this one. That'll drop down for a base hit. 2nd of the afternoon for Kennedy. 41,539 packed into Wrigley Field today. Another key moment as Albert Pujols digs in. And Dan, while we have a quick moment, one of your former teammates, and we talked a lot about Scott Air when he was designated for assignment, and we wished him the best. He has now been traded. Yesterday the Cubs traded the former Cub lefty to the Philadelphia Phillies for a minor league right-handed pitcher, Brian Schlitter. But we wish Scott the best, and we'll probably see him here at Wrigley Field when the Phillies come in.
And it's awfully tough, particularly when you're on a team like this year, this edition of the Cubs, a good team, the first place team. You go all the way through spring training and you're around the guys every day, and it's a very difficult thing when you change teams.
And Schlitter will report to Single-A Daytona in the Florida State League. He's from Park Ridge, Illinois, so hometown kid now joining his hometown organization. Lou out along with the entire infield. Tough decision here. Lilly has pitched well today, but you have Albert Pujols coming up with a runner on base. And here comes a home plate umpire, Paul Nauert, out to the mound, and now Lou's going to make the call for Marmol. So the Heineken call to the pen as the fans get on their feet. An ovation for Ted Lilly. It's up to the bullpen the rest of the way. 2-2 in the 8th, and we'll be right back.
Introducing generic prescriptions for less than $1 a week at Walgreens. For less than $1 a week on more than 400 generics. Get big savings on over 5,000 other generic and name brand prescriptions.
We joined and saved on John's prescription. It wasn't covered by our insurance plan.
Plus, we earn a 10% reward when we buy Walgreens brand products.
Stop by today to see how much you'll save and get $50 in free coupons. The Prescription Savings Club, only at Walgreens.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year-End event. Trade up to Cobalt XFE with better standard highway fuel economy than Corolla and Civic. Get $1,500 total purchase cash on most 2008 Chevy Cobalt models. See your local Chevy dealer.
Spell simplicity.
Simplicity. F-E-L-D-C-O.
Close enough.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Here's hard-throwing right-hander Carlos Marmol. Righty's hitting under 100 against him as he faces Albert Pujols. With Adam Kennedy at first base, 1 out in a tie ball game, 2-2 in the 8th. Here we go. Fastball at 96, overthrew it a bit, and it was low and outside.
It seems like the last 4 or 5 appearances, Carlos is getting a lot more confidence in using his fastball. It seemed like he was going through that stretch where the wheels started to come off a little bit. He was a little bit hesitant, was losing some trust and confidence in his fastball. He's been much better.
Slider that time, 2-0. Carlos has given up a measly 31 hits in 62 in a 3rd innings pitched. The 2-0 on the way. That slider is in the zone, 2-1.
And when you're facing a hitter in a spot like this, like in Albert Pujols, Len, you almost have to approach this to throw every pitch like a 2-strike pitch. You can't afford to be nibbling on the corners. If you're going to throw your breaking ball, make sure it is a good one, a 2-strike breaking ball.
That gets past Soto, and now with a 3-1 on Pujols, the Cubs might consider just giving him ball 4. We'll see. So a wild one on Marmol.
Well, he's thrown a couple of fastballs in this sequence of pitches to Albert Pujols, and all the same, pulling the ball across his body. You see Giovanni Soto was set up there. Really not real good command. That leads you to believe that he's really not trusting that that's the pitch he wants to throw in the strike zone.
We're going to pitch to him on the 3-1. Right center. Kosuke will set up. Kennedy's going to hold at second base. So they get Pujols on a 3-1. He's now 2 for 11. That's his career versus Marmol.
Excuse me, that is really the key for Carlos Marmol. In a spot like that, you're behind 3 balls, 1 strike. The easy thing to do is to tell yourself, you know, to guide a pitch. This is a very good off-speed pitch. A slider a little bit up at the strike zone that really almost came back a little bit, a backup type slider. But you could see from that right there that Albert Pujols a little bit out front and almost tied himself up with that swing.
And Lou's going to head back out. We'll talk some strategy here with Ludwig at the plate and first base open. Take on celebrities like Ernie Banks and Brian Urlacher, and Nintendo Wii Wars take the stage Thursdays in live band Harry Karaoke at Harry Carey's Tavern in Wrigleyville. Visit harrycareys.com for more information. All right, they've got it all sorted out.
I think in a spot like this, you have to take really the pressure off of Carlos Marmol. You either be really aggressive and go ahead and go at Ludwig, and if you're not too sure, you have a base open, you have a guy on deck with Troy Glaus, who is a little bit susceptible, you know, to the off-speed pitches, the hard breaking balls. You either put him on or be really aggressive, and I think this is the right move because it takes really any of that gray area. The worst thing that you can do sometimes to a pitcher is to say, you know, go ahead and pitch around this guy, and that's really a bad way to have a pitcher try to approach a hitter. You start nibbling or picking or tell a guy, listen, all breaking balls, and then you end up hanging a breaking ball.
And I think a great example of that was Bob Howry versus Carlos Lee the other day. He tried to throw a 4-seam fastball off the outside corner. It tailed back over the plate, and Lee took it out.
Great point. You could see in the setup that the intention in that at bat was to give him nothing to hit. The ball unfortunately tailed back in, and I think this was the right thing to do, particularly with a young pitcher like Carlos Marmol. Take the thinking process out of his hands.
So he'll face Gloss with runners at first and second, 2 outs. The Cardinals have had many more chances to score a lot of runs than the Cubs have. The Cubs' 2 runs have come on solo homers by Jim Edmonds. Here's the pitch to Gloss, low and outside on a fastball.
It's not unusual after you've intentionally walked a hitter from a pitcher's standpoint. You've just basically lobbed 4 pitches up there. It's very crucial, the first pitch. It's not unusual that you see a pitch like that from Marmol, but you get thrown out of your rhythm a little bit.
Only that slider didn't get it. 2-0.
Right here, this is just really an overthrown slider, Len. This is a pitch right here that's not an ideal pitch to throw. You need to step back. This will probably be a benefit right here with Troy Gloss stepping out, just to regather your thoughts, slow yourself down, and at times Carlos Marmol, he gets to where he starts rapid firing his pitches back to back to back.
3-0 on Gloss. Molina next if Gloss gets on.
You know, and Lou has even touched on this at occasions, that sometimes, you know, his enthusiasm, he gets a little bit too excited. He gets a little bit ahead of himself here. You have to really make sure right here, because Troy Gloss is going to get the green light here swinging. This has to be a very well located pitch.
How about that? He got a check swing on a 3-0. How often do you see that?
A lot of times with hitters, they get in that mode, 3 balls, no strikes, and particularly when you're facing a strikeout pitcher like Marmol, you have your mind set up before that pitch is delivered. But if fastball's coming, I'm going to go ahead and untie my shoes and make a pass at it.
The kick in, the 3-1, called strike. Paul Nauert has given pitchers that outside corner today, and now it's 3-2, and the fans are up.
I don't know which way that Marmol's going to choose here to try to get Troy Gloss out, but if he could throw a breaking ball down and away right here after 3 or 4 consecutive curveballs, it'd be a really, really good pitch.
The runners run, swing and a miss. He got him. He got Gloss to check swing on a 3-0 to get back into the at-bat, and then he struck him out on a 3-2. It's still 2-2.
It's summer. So what's dear old dad doing? Commuting. I'm not sweating it, though. I opted for the AC seats. Worth every penny.
The Cadillac summer event rolls on with 0% APR financing for 72 months on all 2008 Escalade models. See your Cadillac dealer for details.
Bankruptcy, divorce, medical bills, repossession, late payments, back taxes. These all add up to credit busters. If you need a better vehicle but your credit's busted, help is only a phone call away. Call Key Auto Mall for car credit right now at 866-656-5658. Just pick up the phone and call. It's a fast, no-hassle way to get automotive financing. 866-656-5658. If your credit's busted, fight back and get approved for a great car loan. It's time to get a newer vehicle. Call or stop by Key Auto Mall now.
Intelligent storytelling, emotional impact, sports stories with ties to Iowans. Brooks on Sports takes you beyond the box scores and statistics with compelling stories that you won't see anywhere else.
This month we're going gaming at Riverside. You join us for an interesting show right here on Mediacom.
Watch Brooks on Sports on your local Mediacom Connections channel.
Watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, Comcast Sportsnet. From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, it's a Cadillac Sports Update.
Welcome back, everyone. Josh Moore here in our downtown Chicago studios. It has been a busy day of baseball already here on Comcast Sportsnet. And then as soon as this game goes final, you'll want to stay right here. We've got Lowe's Cubs postgame live. Then after Chicago Tribune Live and Sports Night, we shift to the south side. The White Sox host the Boston Red Sox. First pitch at 7-11. But now let's go back to Len and Dan to finish things off at Wrigley. Guys?
Right-hander Kyle McClellan takes over for Braden Looper. McClellan got his first major league win on July 5th against the Cubs. Team leading 56th appearance. Here we go. Soriano, strike one. The Cardinals have had all kinds of problems closing out games. In on the hands, fouled off. They're going by a closer by committee approach at the moment. After Jason Isringhausen blew the save the other night against the Dodgers, they're trying to keep it tied in this spot, 2-2. There's Jeff Samardzija in the Cubs pen. Top of the order for the Cubs here in the last of the 8th, and a 2-2 tie. Both starting pitchers were excellent. Lilly for the Cubs, Looper for the Cardinals. The 0-2. Got it. Knee buckling breaking ball. Strike three.
Well, not an ideal 0-2 pitch. He was actually fortunate to get away with this one, but it did have some good down tilt towards the end of it. Here, this breaking ball was intended to be down and away. Borderline strike, not a real good pitch. Was fortunate that Soriano didn't get a good pass at this ball.
Brings up Theriot with one out. Ground ball, base hit. '44th multi-hit game of the year for Theriot, one off the National League lead. Jose Reyes of the Mets with 45.
Boy, he is a guy that you really want to see up in tight ball games in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Has a real good understanding of when to take pitches, when, if somebody is on first base, to take pitches to allow somebody to steal a base. He's just a really, really good complete baseball player. Does nothing really flashy, makes the plays at shortstop, but has a real good IQ for the game of baseball.
We'll see how that left wheel is doing. They fouled a ball off it the other day. 17 out of 28 in the stolen base department. Not running as Derek takes a pitch on the outside corner. And again, pitchers are getting maybe a couple of inches off the outside corner, according to Paul Nauert this afternoon. One strike on him.
You don't see a lot of complaining on either side. His strike zone has been a little wide, but it's been very consistent from the first inning up to this point.
The kick and the 0-1 swung on and missed. Nothing in 2. Again, Dan Plesac in for Bob Brenly today. So Len and Dan and our Comcast Sportsnet crew from the friendly confines on a glorious Friday afternoon to kick off a big Cardinals-Cubs weekend. Long pause by McClellan, and time called at the plate. Let's see if the Cubs may send Theriot here. Try to stay out of a double play. Not running inside 1 and 2.
I don't think it's so. If you've gone this deep in this at bat right now, and this pitch particularly right here gives Tony La Russa an option to probably pitch out. Maybe if this count gets to 2-2, 3-2, you may see Lou put Ryan Theriot in motion.
The dribbler into the dugout. All the offense to this point for the Cubs provided by former Cardinal Jim Edmonds with 2 solo home runs. He didn't seem to be in the mood to talk about Tony La Russa and the Cardinals the other day. Might not have a choice after this one.
You know, I think the great thing about this team, and it started early on, you could go through just about everybody on this roster. And there you have a good look at Jim Edmonds, but everybody at one turn or another has played such an important part, both position players, bullpen, starting pitching. It's been team-wide.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 down.
Wednesday, August 20th is 7-Eleven Day at Wrigley Field. Don't miss any action as the Cubs battle the Reds at 7:05. Throughout the game, great prizes will be awarded to lucky fans in random seats. Compliments of 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven.
Well, Ramos has had a penchant for late inning, big dramatic home runs. Beat the White Sox earlier this year. A game-ending blast in the bottom of the ninth. Maybe the biggest moment of the regular season last year with a game-winning homer off Francisco Cordero of the Brewers. A 1-0 pitch. Missed again, 2-0.
You look up and down this Cub lineup, but I think this guy you're looking at right here hits good pitching consistently more often than anybody. He hits good relief pitching. He has a knack for coming up big, and he's extremely difficult to get out in situations like this.
He has thrived in these late inning spots all season. Terrio still at first. He singled with 1 out. Lee struck out. Now it's a Ramos. I think he held up. He did. It's James Hoy at first.
Glenn, he has a knack of what all of your top RBI does. Here's a great check swing, looking for a ball, probably looking for a fastball on the inner half, was able to lay off that sinker. But what makes him so dangerous is he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes late in the game, and he does a tremendous job of rifling the ball to right field and using all of the ballpark.
There's that pitch. And I know you've been in spots sitting in either the home or the visitors bullpen where you have to know coming in that you're going to get that pitch, and obviously Kyle McClellan knew that because he's gotten a couple of those calls here in the 8th inning.
He's been consistent all afternoon long, giving a little bit off the plate to right-handers.
Terrio will be on the move. There he goes. Little tapper out in front of the plate. The pitcher McClellan will throw on to first. And it'll be a last at-bat win for somebody today, because we will go to the 9th inning, and it's the Cardinals 2 and the Cubs 2.
I'm feeling fine whenever you shine. Give me your light, make it alright.
They say the sun shines a little brighter in Florida. See why. Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to the Sunshine State for just $89 or $99 one way. Go to southwest.com/Florida to book your trip today.
You are now free to move about the country.
Find quality products at low prices. Menards. When tackling big cleaning jobs, messes seem smaller with Lidman. Right now, choose from a large angle broom or a Wonder Mop that's self-wringing. Your choice, $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Brighten up your home with Sylvania. A 13-watt mini-twist compact fluorescent light uses 75% less energy, only $198. Plus, there's 0 payments and no interest till spring with your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
Fuel efficiency, durability, safety. Of all the great things Nissan brings you, this is the most thrilling. The bottom line. Nissan's model year-end sales event. Get $1,500 cash back on the 33 MPG Sentra or $199 lease on the 32 MPG Altima. Event ends September 2nd. That's the bottom line. Nissan.
Get ready for an exciting Cubs finish. Brought to you by New Finish Car Polish and the #1 rated scratch remover, Scratch Doctor.
Oh, big defense helping out the Cubs in a 2-2 tie as Braden Looper could not get the bunt down in the squeeze situation as Torres tagged out. And Troy Gloss trying to get a runner in as Soriano nailed Mather at the plate. You had Jim Edmonds diving to make a catch, and then Ryan Terrio going up a little bit. to steal away another base hit. So Dan, the defense today, and you don't really see it in the box score, but it has really helped out.
Well, Len, if you're going to build your team around your pitching staff, you have to have the guys behind you to catch the ball. Cub defense this afternoon as good as it's been all season long.
Here's Jeff Samardzija making his 7th appearance, his 6th here at home, as he faces a catcher, Yadier Molina. We're in the 9th, tied up at 2 apiece. Keep in mind, Rick Ankiel is available off the Cardinal bench. He was not in the starting lineup. He has an abdominal strain, but he has been available lately as a pinch hitter. And Ankiel with 22 home runs. Ground ball near second base for DeRosa.
Well, there's lots to like about Jeff Samardzija, but even in his first appearance, I think the thing that impresses me most and impresses a lot of people around baseball is he has the mound presence about him that he doesn't look like he's stargazed or he's intimidated. He very much looks like very much of a pitcher that looks like he's out there with a purpose, and it's going to be a learning process for him with any young pitcher, learning to control his emotions. It's not a question about his stuff. It's simply going to be about getting a little bit more experience, a little bit more savvy.
AC Soto is trying to calm down his rookie battery mate. Three and 0. And there's ball 4. So as Torres is on, Kyle McClellan due up, and he's going to head back into the Cardinal dugout, and I bet you we're going to see Rick Ankiel. And here he comes. And you can hear a smattering of Cardinal fans near the visiting dugout applauding the fact that Ankiel is going to hit. Saw rookie right-hander Chris Perez up in the Cardinal pen. So Ankiel facing Samardzija for the first time. Strike 1. Left-hander Neil Kotz is up for the Cubs. The 0-1 pitch. Blew it by him in 95. 0-2.
Terrific sequence of pitches. As a pinch hitter coming up off the bench, most guys are going to be up there charging. Was able to throw a first pitch, split finger pitch, made that 95 miles an hour fastball look 105. Great sequence up to this point. Could go either way here. Down in the strike zone, up in the strike zone.
Gonna throw to first. Runner goes. The pitch is high. Here's a throw. Save. Is Torres in with his 13th stolen base. Meantime, 1-2 on the batter Ankiel.
This Torres there got a great jump off of Samardzija. A couple of step lead there, and not a bad throw by Giovanni Soto. Just simply got too good of a jump.
Couldn't get Ankiel to chase a splitter. Outside, 2-2. The next one popped up, and DeRosa caught it as he and Terrio came together. What was the BB line? Just get it done, right?
Just get her done.
Style points. That was a little scary. Oof. Taller guy normally gets it, and that's the case here. Is DeRosa. Took it away from Terrio. 2 down at Schumacher. Is Turris off and running for third? He'll get in there for his second steal of the inning. So the key here now is if he goes with that splitter that Soto blocks it with a runner now at third base.
Right here, Jeff Samardzija just really not paying attention to Cesar Torres. A couple of pitches in that, and in a bat right there where as a runner you're trying to get the timing of your pitcher, and Jeff really forgot to pay attention to Torres. But it's not the end of the world. In some ways, and we touched on this earlier, it's not that bad of a spot. A lot of times you'll see a base runner on second base, particularly in a lengthy at bat where he'll be able to relay location. A lot of times hitters will take their lead off, crossing their steps, indicating that the ball is going to be away, or shuffling off, and that's relaying to the hitter that the ball is going to be on the inside part of the plate. So it's not necessarily a bad thing having a runner on third. You just have to really make sure, if you're going to throw off-speed pitches in the dirt, that you have confidence in your catcher to be able to block the pitch.
A bunt by Schumacher. Barehanded play by DeRosa. How about that? Schumacher with a hard bunt. DeRosa picked it up with a bare hand, got him out, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Still tied 2-2.
It's summer. So what's dear old dad doing? Commuting. I'm not sweating it, though. I opted for the AC seats. Worth every penny.
Cadillac summer event rolls on with 0% APR financing for 72 months on all 2008 Escalade models. See your Cadillac dealer for details.
Now more than ever, you want to get the most for your money. Look no further than the rugged V6 2008 Kia Sportage. Fuel efficient, 5-star safety rated, backed by an industry-leading warranty, and it's priced about $6,000 less than a Toyota RAV4 Limited. Or to put it another way, a whole year's worth of groceries less. The Kia Model Year End event, it's money well saved. Now get the 2008 Kia Sportage starting around $16,700.
Not a great bunt, but you really don't have to have a great bunt because it's a sneak attack here. And how about the barehanded play by DeRosa?
That he made that play look so easy. That really, in the situation there with a man on third and 2 out, that is a do or die play. Unbelievable play by Mark DeRosa.
High-speed shutter cam with that great shot at first. Now rookie right-hander Chris Perez. A lot of conversation in St. Louis around the Cardinals whether or not Tony La Russa should just make him the closer. Tony has been hesitant to do that. He wants to kind of ease in this young right-hander. He picked up his first career save on Wednesday, when an inning and 2/3. He'll try to get the Cardinals into extras today as he faces Kosuke, and before that happens, Molina's going to go out and make sure they're on the same page.
Well, this is what situation like this, the Cubs have been in so many close games in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, extra inning games, and this is where their patience, line up wide, really pays dividends. They make pitchers throw strikes. Very good offensive team.
Swing and a miss. Perez turned 23 on July 1st. The 0-1 wasn't caught. Almost looked like Nauert wanted to call it a strike. I wonder if Molina is telling the home plate umpire Nauert that was a strike, even though I didn't catch it. But it's tough to get that call if you don't get it.
He's probably telling Yadier, well, if you catch it, I'll probably give you that.
Fouled away. 1-2. This was a pitch that was not caught. Might have been a little high. Came back, belt high, and Molina just whipped on it.
I think what you saw there was Yadier Molina. You often hear that term, trying to frame a pitch, and almost like he tried to bring that ball into the strike zone and just simply closed his glove too soon.
Fastball at 96 outside. Perez went into the season as the Cardinals' #2 prospect, according to Baseball America. Pitched at the University of Miami of Florida and was the 42nd overall pick, taken in the supplemental round in 2006. Two to Kosuke, spun him around, strike 3.
Well, you can see by the way the ball comes out of his hand why the Cardinals are so impressed and think that he has such a bright future ahead of him. Very live action on this fastball. His ball tailing away from Fukudome, 96 miles an hour. Looks like he has a nice tight breaking ball.
Soto at the plate. Jim Edmonds is on deck. The pitch to Soto. Pretty good slider at 89 from Perez. Only way Edmonds won't bat is if Soto ends it with a home run. And he went too far. Well, maybe, we'll take a triple and an error. Something like that. How about an inside the Parker, which he has already accomplished this year in Houston. But if that doesn't happen, Jim Edmonds will have a shot at his 3rd home run. He has 2 already. The 0-2 pitch to Soto, just outside. The kick and the pitch, ground ball, foul. The wind continues to blow in off the lake. Out of the northeast right now. I think it's coming straight out of the east and from right center. Base hit up the middle, bringing up Edmonds with a winning run on base.
Terrific at bat there by Giovanni Soto. We've touched on it over and over again this afternoon. The patience of the Cubs hitter, laying off those borderline pitches, making opposing pitchers bring the ball in the strike zone. And one of the keys, not being afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and when they get a ball away, take it right back up the middle. Great piece of hitting there by Soto.
Well, some Cubs fans took a little while to warm up to Jim Edmonds. I think they're all on his side now. The former Cardinal has gone deep twice. Takes strike 1 on a heater. Two for 3. 2 home runs. And the 0-1 pitch outside. Perez got that one up to 97.
And it's tough for a guy like Jim Edmonds. The first time you're seeing a pitcher, it's always to the advantage of the pitcher because you'd like to be able to track a couple of pitches, see the action on the fastball, see the depth on the breaking pitch.
By the way, Jim Edmonds, in his long career, and he's been a home run hitter throughout his career, has never hit 3 in one game. 377 career home runs coming into this at bat.
Patience, and it's line up wide. That is why this team is so good in close games late. They make pitchers throw strikes, and eventually you get enough counts in your favor, 2-1, 3-1, 2-0. You're going to get a good ball to hit.
The 3-1 pitch, 3-2. He did not get cheated on that swing. Well, that's a nasty riser from Perez.
You know, he has what a lot of people in baseball would term a live arm. The ball just seems to really come out of his hand, and it's got a lot of finish through the strike zone.
Soto at first, 1 out, 3-2 on Jim Edmonds. 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th. And Lou Piniella is out on the field asking for time.
Might be looking for a pinch runner spot here, maybe in a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
All of a sudden, Lou came flying out of the dugout. Hang on, everybody. I want Cedeno to pinch run.
Well, that's one of the luxuries when Jim Henry put this team together going into spring training. You look at the depth on the Cubs bench. You have a guy like Ronnie Cedeno that could fill in anywhere in the middle part of the infield, even third base. There's some speed on the bench. You have some left-handed pop, and a guy like Darrell Ward. There's just a lot of weapons on this Cub roster. They're very deep.
Although for the first time in Major League history, we were going to see one manager go to the mound to talk to the pitcher on the other team. Well, Lou is just trying to get the umpire's attention and get the pinch runner Cedeno in the ballgame. Cedeno runs and a ground ball to Pujols, so they stay out of the double play. That's a heads-up throw there by Albert Pujols. He was trying to catch Cedeno, making the turn around second, but Ronnie fortunately put some glue on the bottom of his shoes.
There you see the advantage of having Cedeno's speed. Now that may have been a double play possibility with Giovanni Soto. Albert Pujols may have elected to tag first base, possibly get Giovanni Soto in the rundown. Now you have an ideal situation, a runner in scoring position, a guy that handles the bat very well in Mark DeRosa.
A base hit could win it. Runner at second, 2 outs. DeRosa, strike 1. Darrell Ward now on deck for some margin. Bob Howery in the bullpen just in case we go to extras. Chris Perez, Dan, is throwing his slider faster than a lot of pitchers throw their fastball.
He has really good stuff, and you could see after about 3 or 4 pitches, and he has pretty good command of both his fastball and his slider.
1-1 to Mark. Did he hold up? He did.
Now that pitch right there has been the pitch most of the afternoon that has been called a strike. A pitch about 2-3 inches off the outer third of the plate to a right-handed hitter.
Perez ready to go. The kick and the 2-1 pitch. Bounce to third. It's charged by Gloss. It throws off the back foot. And we will head to extra innings. So extras from Wrigley Field. The Cardinals have lost 9 times in overtime. 2-2.
The event is now on.
but it won't last forever. The Lexus Summer Sales Event, where you'll find the best values of the year now through September 2nd. Lease the 2009 RX 350 all-wheel drive for $459 a month for 36 months for $35.59 due at signing.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean, you feel it. That's why Pennzoil Motor Oil is specially formulated with active cleansing agents to clean out up to 15% of sludge in the first oil change. And a cleaner engine just feels better. So change with Pennzoil and feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
People think the terms SUV and fuel economy don't mix. The truth is, the GMC Acadia crossover has an EPA estimated 24 highway MPG. That's better than a Honda Pilot. It's also better than Mazda CX-9. Look it up. Plus, get the best coverage in America.
Qualified buyers now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months plus $750 purchase bonus cash on any 2008 GMC Acadia. See your local Buick, Pontiac, GMC dealer.
After the game, stick around for Lowe's Cubs postgame live. Get highlights of all the action. Analysis from the guy sitting next to me, right? Dan Plesac, plus check in on Lou Piniella's postgame remarks. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Now extra innings presented by Chevy as Henry Blanco will catch. Remember, Soto was removed for Ronnie Cedeno, who pinch ran for him. Samardzija is still in there because his spot did not come up in the order. So he'll get the 10th. And the Cubs will use a pinch hitter to start the bottom of the inning. Joe Mather looking at strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pulled foul over the home dugout. The Cubs are 7-5 in extras. The Cardinals are 6-9, and those 9 defeats in extra innings are the most in the majors. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good slider from Jeff Samardzija.
Good slider and a great sequence of pitches. The pitch prior to that hard breaking ball right there was the fastball that he ran in. We touched on it earlier. Making hitters aware of that ball hard in, setting them up for that off-speed pitch. Great location, great last 2 pitches.
I figured we were ticketed for extras considering you worked 14 the other night. So you brought extra innings to the north
machine.
Side. But I do recall the home team won, so hopefully that happens in this one too. The 1-0 pitch to Kennedy, ball 2. And we want to send out happy 38th anniversary wishes to Ed and Marty Charbonneau watching from Lac Saint Francois in Canada today. Pulled foul. We see Ryan Franklin getting loose. There are days when, as a reliever, late in the ball game, depending on the score, you can maybe relax just a little bit because you assume you're not going to get in there. But once you get to the 10th and you haven't pitched, you got to be ready, right? Everybody has to be ready.
One of the keys, and particularly in the National League, there is a lot. There's the double switches, the pinch hitting. There's the pitching staffs as a whole, particularly the bullpen. You're going to use a lot more pitchers, and it's really key to keep your head involved in the game.
This is Theriot now behind second. Kennedy's out.
And this really says a lot about Jeff Samardzija, that Lou Piniella, you know, he's very early into his young career, that he trusts this young right-hander in a big game like this, a tie game against the St. Louis Cardinals. And I really think that his background, playing football at Notre Dame in front of big crowds, you could just see that he feels at home on that mound in this ballpark, and that's very rare to see.
Slider strike to Pujols.
You often talk about having that mentality, and I'm a firm believer as a pitcher You have to make up your mind. You're going to go out there and hunt hitters, or they're going to hunt you. And this guy's approach, just from the little bit that we've seen of him, is he means business when he's out there on the mound. He's attacking hitters and going right after it.
Facing Pujols for the first time in his career.
Now, it helps when you throw 97 and it's a bowling ball and you have a great split finger. So he has a couple things going for him.
Shakes off Blanco a couple of times, and now the 0-2 is high. He wanted to come right back to the heat.
He's got a pretty good idea for a limited time in the major leagues. This is a real good split finger pitch, but as we touched on, the pitch that set this swing up was the fastball that was 97. To make a hitter have to respect your fastball.
Well, these fans are ready to erupt. They want Samardzija to strike out Albert Pujols. Samardzija just wants to get him out, get the Cubs back to the plate in the bottom of the 10th. Samardzija couldn't get it. Diving stop by DeRosa, but he won't make a throw. Pujols has his first hit.
And that's really what makes Albert Pujols such an elite hitter. He's able to take really good pitches and make contact. Here's a fastball located on the corner and just hits the ball right back up the middle. He brings a lot of things with that big bat. He's one of the rare exceptions of power hitting guys that drive in runs, but yet have a knack for cutting their swing down with 2 strikes.
Ludwig struck out, flied to left, and then walked his last 2 times up. In the 8th, he was walked intentionally. And he lays off a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes.
If you're Jeff Samardzija, not a bad idea right here. Maybe on this pitch or the next pitch to step off or hold the ball. Albert Pujols isn't what you would consider a very good base stealer, but he picks his spots to run, and if you don't pay attention, he will take off.
Not running. Fastball strike. Each team with 2 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. Now Pujols, they're going to get him at second. Tag applied by Mark DeRosa. He tried to sneak in a stolen base before Samardzija even went to the plate. Didn't work out for him. Another big defensive play for the Cubs. 2-2 to the bottom of the 10th.
I'm feeling fine whenever you shine. Give me a light, make it alright.
They say the sun shines a little brighter in Florida. See why. Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to the Sunshine State for just $89 or $99 one way. Go to southwest.com/Florida to book your trip today.
You are now free to move about the country.
I am your idea, and I'm huge. Tab me, bind me, stack me, send me round. I'm your big idea. You can't stop this. I'm your biggest idea. And Rico moves me, shows me, sends me. Leaves me behind, but never in a bind. It's the big time. I'm your big idea. And Rico's how we go and go and go.
People think certain cars can't compete. Truth is, Pontiac has 3 cars that offer 30 highway MPG or better, each under 20 grand. G5 XFE has better highway fuel economy than Honda Civic. G6 has better combined fuel efficiency than Honda Accord for 2 grand less. The 09 Vibe is the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class. Look it up. Plus, get the best coverage in America.
See your local Buick, Pontiac, GMC dealer.
Well, you talked about keeping an eye on Albert Pujols. And he takes off well before Samardzija thinks about pitching. Fortunately, Jeff stepped off. He saw Henry Blanco caught it. He didn't balk. And Pujols was an easy out at second base.
Really, the key to that play was Henry Blanco coming out behind home plate, telling him to step off. And what happens, you'll see this a lot, Len, experienced player like an Albert Pujols, a lot of times a younger pitcher, they'll hear step off, he's going, and they'll balk. You know, they'll not clear themselves off the mound. Great job by Samardzija. Those are the kind of things you work on in spring training, and you'll see this a lot of times. We touched on it, that Albert Pujols isn't a fast runner, but he picks his spots when to take off.
Right-hander Ryan Franklin is in along with second baseman Aaron Miles. Franklin at one time was their closer. He took over for Jason Isringhausen, but again, right now, Tony La Russa going with the committee approach. It's a 2-2 tie. Pinch hitter Darrell Ward will lead off the bottom of the 10th. Fly ball, shallow center, and it's Schumacher for the first out. Here's Soriano. He's 0 for 4. Came in red hot. Came in with 20 hits, including 6 home runs over his last 11 games. He's also batting .436 on the year when he puts the first pitch in play. So we'll see what he gets. So Molina setting up shop toward the inside, and they catch the corner. 0-1. Bob Howery would work the 11th with Samardzija taken out for the pinch hitter, if we get that far.
Franklin got away with one there. Yadier Molina. It looks like at this point of the game right now, the Cardinals are really making an effort to try to pitch Alfonso Soriano. You see Yadier sitting in, and that ball, cutting back out over the outer third of the plate. Not a real good pitch. That one right there could have been one of those to set up another fastball on the inner half of the plate, 2 pitches away. Pretty good chance they try to bury a fastball in on Alfonso Soriano right here.
Franklin from the line, the 2-2 is hit foul. It's been a tight ball game throughout. The next pitch almost hit him. Boy, that barely missed his jersey. 3-2.
Looked like some type of almost like a knuckleball. I'm not sure if that's in his repertoire, but that's almost what it looked like.
I think that hit his jersey, and he didn't try to sell it to Paul Nard. The payoff pitch, he hit it foul. I don't know if the breeze of the baseball caught the jersey or not. Just watch the jersey. I think you're right on the knuckleball. Well, hard to tell. That ball didn't have any rotation on it. Another 3-2, high fly ball, but again not carrying. And it's Schumacher catching out number 2. Kind of an interesting pitch selection there in a big spot, wasting that what appeared to be a knuckler.
Only thing you could think of is a hitter like an Alfonso Soriano. The way to pitch Soriano, the book on Soriano, was more changing speeds, hard, soft, as opposed to up and down or in and out. We're going to have to find out if Mr. Franklin has the knuckleball in his arsenal.
Terrio breaks his bat as his Tourist will gobble it up. And we'll head to the 11th. So the Cubs go down in order in the 10th. It's still a 2-2 tie. Bob Howry coming in.
Introducing generic prescriptions for less than $1 a week at Walgreens. For less than $1 a week on more than 400 generics. Get big savings on over 5,000 other generic and name brand prescriptions.
We joined and saved on John's prescription. It wasn't covered by our insurance plan.
Plus, we earn a 10% reward when we buy Walgreens brand products.
Stop by today to see how much you'll save and get $50 in free coupons. The Prescription Savings Club, only at Walgreens.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year End event. Trade up to Cobalt XFE with better standard highway fuel economy than Corolla and Civic. Get $1,500 total purchase cash on most 2008 Chevy Cobalt models. See your local Chevy dealer.
Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Reds on Thursday, August 21st. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will get a Cubs keychain, compliments of Comcast Sportsnet. Well, there's no question Bob Howry has been struggling, and every mistake he has made lately has left the ballpark. But a chance here to start a good stretch as he pitches in a big spot, a tie ball game in the 11th. Lou said the other day, I have confidence in Bob and I'm going to use him, and he's using him in this spot. We have not seen Kerry Wood today in what would be his second appearance off the disabled list. Outside on Ryan Ludwig. Ball one.
That was a good sign there, that first pitch. To me, he's really turned himself into a one-pitch pitcher. He's had a difficult time getting his off-speed pitches over. And he's getting to the point in his career now where he's going to have to make some adjustments in the repertoire of his pitches. At times, he's primarily a fastball pitcher, but he really doesn't have something to complement that, a change of speed, something to hit hitters off of the fastball. If he can begin to start to throw his off-speed pitches over, it'll make the appearance and make his fastball that much more longer.
Here's the 2-0, hammered on the ground, stopped by Theriot as he gloves and throws and gets Ludwig.
You know, and the further you go on in your career and you're facing the same teams over and over again, they have a pretty good book on the way you go about getting hitters out. And this was a good sign. And you saw the sequence of pitches, breaking ball, fastball. He's going to have to incorporate, whether it's his split finger or his slider. At times he gets to where he's pitching at the 92, 93 mile an hour range, and his slider is hard, 84, 85. There's not enough of a gap between the two. They're kind of mixing in both together, and it makes it easier for a hitter when you're throwing hard and your off-speed stuff is also hard. And it's a tough adjustment to make when you've been successful like Bobby Howry has been. There's part of you that wants to say that I need to stay with what got me here and what I have been successful with. But as it continues to happen and you're having a rough stretch and a one good game and then followed by a couple of more games of a rough stretch, it's a game about constantly making adjustments.
The 1-0 pitch. Voss missed it.
And usually what happens, you go through such a difficult time that you kind of hit rock bottom and you realize that you have to make some changes to be able to survive. And when you get to that point, you're willing to say, I'm going to make a commitment to using my off-speed pitch, whether it's a curveball or a changeup, and you just are committed to doing it and you use it.
The 1-1 ground ball wide of third. On the other hand, he has been such a fastball dominated pitcher throughout his career. There's also a point where you have to just try to do what you do best. So it's that fine line too, right? Because you have to throw strikes with that four-seamer to get people out.
And it's really a fine line when you do the body of work that he does, because naturally the instinct is if you have a bad game and you get beat on your secondary pitch, the first thing you're often going to hear is you cannot get beat on your second best pitch. But there are very few guys that can go out and consistently pitch with one pitch, a dominating fastball.
The other thing about it, there's a mechanical component to this, as Bob's four-seam fastball has been moving too much. We talked about this the other day. A guy who works on his location so much, when he wants to throw a pitch to a certain spot and it's tailing back over the plate, that's when he's really gotten into trouble. 2-2, and he strikes out Gloss on a fastball, 2 down.
Now there's that good sinking fastball. That is Bob's bread and butter pitch, and it always has been. That's what has made him such a valuable reliever. And he brings a lot of things to the table. He's gone through a rough stretch, but one thing that the most important thing for a manager with your relief pitchers is you have to be able to trust your pitchers. He's not going to panic. He's gone through a tough stretch, and you know that it's in him. That one game might turn Bobby Howry around, and you might get 14, 15 consecutive appearances where he's throwing the ball really well. You could see by the way he's approaching, he's using more breaking balls already in this game than he has probably in the last 4 or 5 combined. It serves two purposes. Len, one, it gets hitters to recognize that you can't go up there looking for one pitch. And two, it helps you to be able to throw both sides of the plate. His sinker, his two-seamer, runs into righties, and this breaking ball is a pitch that's going in the opposite direction.
Fastball strike, 1-1.
It's so much. Being out on that mound can be the most lonely place in a baseball field when things aren't going well. It seems like every time you make a good pitch, there's a broken bat, there's a flare, a ball falls in. It's all about confidence.
One and two. Now this would be a big confidence booster here in a tie ball game in the 11th inning. He can get Molina and have a clean 1-2-3 frame.
I mean, you look at the way this bullpen has been set up. Kerry Wood has been fantastic. Carlos Marmol was lights out. He looks like he's starting to get back together. And Bob Howry could just add such another dimension to this bullpen to have 3 or 4 options going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
He just started growing that beard when the game started. The kick and the 2-2 hit up in the air and foul and out of play. First time the Cardinals have been here in 2008. And it's a 2-2 tie in the 11th. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Bob Howry goes 1-2-3. One of his better outings of late. Bottom 11. It'll be Lee, Ramirez, and Fukudome due up.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year-End event with a fuel-efficient 08 Chevy. Get $2,500 total purchase cash on all 2008 Chevy Equinox models. Equinox has earned 5-star frontal and side impact crash test ratings. Log on now to ChevyDealer.com.
Hey Cubs fans, are you looking to get tickets to the hottest Cubs games this year? Visit Cubs.com and click on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of Cubs.com. Don't miss all the fun and excitement at the friendly confines with StubHub. There's always a ticket available to a Cubs game.
I've read a lot of books, wrote a few songs, looked at my life, where it's going, where it's gone. I've seen the world through a bus windshield, but nothing compares to the way that I see it when I sit in that old blue chair.
Seriously, mornings just go better when you grab some breakfast.
Whatever.
Ow.
Start your day off right with any 2 McMuffin sandwiches for just $3. Now at McDonald's.
Now the Feldco Cubs upcoming schedule, national television coming up the next couple of days. Off day coming up Monday, and then Tuesday in Atlanta to start the next trip, the Southeast trip through Atlanta and South Florida. And we'll greet you again on Comcast Sportsnet Plus Wednesday night at 6 o'clock from Turner Field. So it's Ryan Franklin who went 1-2-3 in the 10th inning. He threw a knuckleball to Alfonso Soriano during that inning. We'll see what he has up his sleeve here against Derek Lee. Strike one. Derek singled in his first at bat, 0 for 3 since.
That was the knuckleball again.
I don't know if that was on the scouting report or not. Have to be ready for everything, apparently. 1-1 pitch. Up and in again. 2-1. Looper, McClellan, Perez, and Franklin. All right-handers today working for the Cardinals. The 2-1, now 2-2. Lilly, Marmol, Samardzija, and now Bob Howry for the Cubs. A 2-2 pitch, low and inside. It's a full count with Aramis on deck. Lee leading off the bottom of the 11th. Here's a payoff pitch, and he walked him. Leadoff man is on base. The winning run is at first base.
Well, you often talk about, hitters in a really good aggressive mode, and in that bet right there, Franklin, it really seemed like he was pitching Derek Lee like he wanted no part of Derek Lee. Threw one fastball in that sequence up and in, and as soon as the count was back to 2-2, it looked like the last thing he wanted to do was throw something over the plate particularly hard. Went to, I believe, right there, the 3-2 knuckleball again. Not a very good pitch in a tie game on the road.
Cubs will not ask Ramirez to bunt. That's a big play by Molina. He quickly throws to first. Couldn't get anything on the throw, and Lee back in plenty of time.
It's unusual. Usually, you don't see very many pitchers use the knuckleball unless they're really completely committed to using that in their repertoire as their main pitch. You see the knuckleball pitchers, Tim Wakefield as an example, from the Boston Red Sox. He's primarily will throw anywhere between 80 to 85% knuckleballs during the course of the game. And when he needs to throw a strike in a situation, 2 balls, no strikes, will try to go ahead and sneak a fastball in every once in a while. It looks like Franklin in this spot right here is really afraid to go to his fastball, and he's going to find himself pitching behind in the count quite a bit if he uses this knuckleball.
The 1-0 to Aramis, 2 balls, no strikes. Now, if he is walked, there's a very good chance the number 5 hitter in the lineup, Kosuke Fukudome, would be asked to lay down a bunt. But we're not there yet. The kick and the pitch. Fastball strike. I just popped up a St. Louis Post-Dispatch article from spring training, and Ryan Franklin does in fact have a knuckleball in his repertoire. That was a good catch, Dan, back in the 10th inning.
Well, one of the things he's going to find out real soon that this is a very, very patient Cub offensive team, and sooner or later he's going to have to throw something over the plate, because this is not the team to be nibbling around the corners with.
Lee walked to start the inning. Now he runs on a 3-1. It's popped foul, and it's out of play. With Derek running on the 3-1, we'll see if he goes on the 3-2. And you alluded to this earlier. Aramis is not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and for a power hitter, he does not strike out that much.
Well, what makes him so dangerous is he's one of a rare breed of a guy that has power in his game, a big RBI guy, but is not afraid to take a pitch on the outer third of the plate and drive it to right field. That's what makes him so dangerous.
Quick check on Lee. Franklin now set. Lee runs again, and that ball hammered into right center. Derek makes the turn. Throw's going to go toward third. He's safe. First and third, nobody out.
Len, not to sound like we're rehashing, but that is what separates Aramis Ramirez, and that's why every year he's near the 100 RBI mark. He gets a fastball up and away, and he was thinking right field when he started that swing, and a tremendous job by Derek Lee going from first to third. A great read on contact. He was able to pick up the ball, and he had his mind made up that he was going to third base. Great job of hitting and a great job of base running by Derek Lee.
So now Tony La Russa out there with Franklin and the Cardinal infielders. Kosuke due up. First and third with nobody out. So it's all set up for the Cubs here in the 11th. A golden chance to end it. Kosuke is 0 for 4. He has flied to left. He has grounded out twice. And the last time up, he struck out against Chris Perez.
It'll be interesting to see in a spot like this with first and third if they elect to pitch to Fukudome. It looks like they're not. Be interesting to see his approach with Henry Blanco with the bases loaded, with a go-ahead run at third base. If Franklin will continue to go to that knuckleball, it's a pitch that he's not been able to throw for strikes, trying to use that for the most part as a strikeout pitch or a swing and miss pitch.
And it'll be the first plate appearance of the day for Henry. It'll come with the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the 11th. He came in for defense in the 10th. So there's ball 4 to Kosuke. You have Lee at third, Ramirez at second, Fukudome at first. And the Cardinals will bring not only their infield in, but their outfield way in as well. Doesn't get any better than this. Bases loaded. Cubs trying to end it. Here's the pitch. Strike one. Got that call on the outside corner. A medium depth fly ball will end it, where the outfielders weigh in. The 0-1 pitch. Line in, the Cubs win! As Torres didn't make the catch as Derek Lee scores. Henry Blanco with a game-winning hit. Cubs win 3-2 the final. I thought his Torres had a shot at it, but that ball rocketed past him, and that was it. Blanco wins it.
What a great win for the Cubs. Great outing by Ted Lilly. Jeff Samardzija threw the ball very well. Bobby Howry picks up the win. Some tremendous defensive plays. 2 big home runs by Jim Edmonds. A very, very well-played game by the Cubs.
So Henry Blanco wins the ball game, his first and final at bat of the day. And the Cubs beat the Cardinals 3-2 the final here in 11. What a great day of baseball. And Henry's with us down on the field. Henry, Len and Dan with you here. Congratulations. I mean, in that spot, that's a hitter's paradise, right? Infield in, outfield in, nobody out, bases loaded.
Oh, first of all, thank you, man. And, you know, it feels good to contribute, with this team. That we're playing a good baseball. And, you know what, come out in that spot and get a hit. That's huge for us and huge for me, too.
Hey, Henry, were you going up there looking for one particular pitch? Was there a pitch that you were sitting on, hoping to get?
Well, Lou told me to look for a slide, the first pitch, and go to right field, but I thought the one that he threw was a little bit outside, but gave me a fastball to hit, and I could have connected pretty good.
Henry, how about the atmosphere in this ballpark? You've been with several different teams in your career. You've been a Cub here the last few years. It just feels like every day you guys come here, you expect to win, and the fans here have come to expect it as well.
Well, it's good to have fans like this, you make you come to a ballpark and do it every day. It's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, I've been in several teams, but it's nothing like this before.
How about Jim Edmonds today with 2 big home runs against his former team?
Tell you what, he got to feel pretty good doing it against his former team. He's been a good kid for us. I mean, he's been playing pretty good, and hopefully he's still able to do it all the way.
Dan and I were talking about Bob Howry. It seemed like he went with a breaking ball a little bit early in the count. It seemed to work.
We're trying to get his breaking ball go a little bit better, and today he saw some good ones. So hopefully he continued to do that, and he got to continue to keep with the fastball too. So that's a big kid for him too.
Henry, congratulations! Great stuff today. Go enjoy this win.
All right, thank you, man.
What a ball game today. You've had quite a week, Dan.
Quite a week. 2 for 2, though, 2 wins.
Some pretty big ball games. The Cubs win today 3-2. Bob Howry gets the win. He's 5-4. Ryan Franklin takes the loss for drop to 4-5. Looks like ZZ Top's in the ballpark. Nissan drives of the game. Jim Edmonds with his first 2 career hits against the St. Louis Cardinals in the second. And then again in the 7th. The first home run gave the Cubs an early lead. The second one tied it up. Nissan drives of the game. That flag has flown atop Wrigley Field now 44 times out of 60 tries at home this season.
Len, this is just a real good baseball team. They have depth in the starting rotation. They have depth in the bullpen. A very strong bench. They catch the ball well defensively. But it all boils down to pitching. Ted Lilly was terrific this afternoon, and really the entire Cubs starting rotation has been really good just about all season long.
Bob will be back with us in Atlanta on Wednesday here on Comcast Sportsnet. Dan, thanks so much for filling in. Had a great time with you. This was a memorable game today, wasn't it?
It sure was. We got a win out of it, too.
Nicely done. Dan's not done yet. We have Postgame Live coming up. And that'll do it for our game coverage. But again, Postgame Live is right around the corner. The final score in 11, the Cubs 3, the Cardinals 2. Our next Cubs telecast will be Wednesday night from Atlanta on Comcast Sportsnet Plus at 6 o'clock for the airtime. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Dan, for Dave Kaplan, Bob Albrecht, Dave Turner, Tamara Anderson, Jim Cornell Jr., and our entire crew. This is Len Casper. Enjoy your weekend and stay tuned. We're going to send it over to Josh Moore in the studio. Dan here from the ballpark. Cubs win in 11, 3-2 the final.
Len, thanks very much. Josh Moore indeed here in our downtown Chicago studios. Stay with us. We've got Lowe's Cubs postgame live coming up next. Dan Plesac stays with us from Wrigley Field to break down the game. Plus, Lou Piniella's very happy postgame press conference. That and much more. Coming up next on Comcast Sportsnet.
I am your idea, and I'm huge. Tab me, bind me, stack me, send me round. I'm your big idea. You can't stop this. I'm your biggest idea. And Rico moves me, shows me, sends me. Leaves me behind, but never in a bind. It's the big time. I'm your big idea. And Rico's how we go and go and go.
It's on everybody's mind these days. So trade up to better fuel economy now at the Chevy Model Year-End event with a fuel-efficient 08 Chevy. Get $2,500 total purchase cash on all 2008 Chevy Equinox models. Equinox has earned 5-star frontal and side impact crash test ratings. Log on now to ChevyDealer.com.
Bank of America offers the opportunity to see Wrigley Field like never before. Take a 90-minute guided tour and see the press box, locker room, dugouts, and more. With the new expanded summer schedule, it's now more convenient than ever to experience beautiful Wrigley Field. Purchase tickets by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or by visiting Cubs.com.
Get on the fast track to your dreams with AT&T Advanced TV, which offers a wide selection of programming and more HD channels than cable. AT&T U-verse TV lets you record up to 4 shows at once on one DVR, unlike cable, up to 120 hours of programming. You can even get up to $100 cash back on qualifying combined TV and internet plans, or double your cash back and get up to $200 when you order online.
Are you working on your research?
Of course. AT&T is a proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.
What can I get you? MGD 64. Got it?
Oh, I'll have 64 calories of a Michelob Ultra.
Okay. We got food, we got burgers, we got dogs, we got salad.
12 ounces, 64 calories. MGD 64. As light as it gets.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit Southwest.com today. Menards. And Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. And by your local Chicagoland Buick Pontiac GMC dealers.
The outfielders weigh in. The 0-1 pitch. Line in, the Cubs win! As Torres didn't make the catch as Derek Lee scores! Henry Blanco with a game-winning hit.
Hank White coming through in the bottom of the 11th. The Cubs doing the Tigger hop. The W flag flying as they win in 11, 3-2 over the St. Louis Cardinals in a very exciting, very entertaining ball game out at Wrigley Field. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lowe's Cubs Post-Game Live. I'm Josh Moore. Dan Plesac will join us from the ballpark in just a couple of minutes. We, of course, will take you out to Wrigley and get you Lou Piniella's post-game press conference. But let's go back up to the broadcast booth and bring in Dan Plesac. Dan, I have right here the conductor's hat. I'm not putting it on.
I was just going to mention that to you. I was wondering if you could get somebody to deliver it over so we could do it.
There's the train, baby.
The big blue train's rolling.
I would put it on, except there's a little film in here, and I'm not really sure what it is. So I'll leave it next to me. But, you know, the Cubs are able to start this series much the way they started that big series in Milwaukee. Tight ball game, well pitched, well played, and they win it in their last at-bat.
Well, this game really was a combination of why this team is the best team in the National League. Very good starting pitching. The bullpen was outstanding, and I think this could be a game, a huge confidence builder for Bobby Howard. He is such a big key to this bullpen. It gives Lou Piniella another option late in the game. A terrific day by Jim Edmonds, and probably the best defensive game that the Cubs have played all season long. They pitched very well. They caught the ball. did a lot of things really well. This was a huge win for the Cubs.
Well, let's talk about the starting pitching and how it led into the bullpen. Ted Lilly with 7 1/3 good innings. And you mentioned Bobby Howry at the tail end of a group that included Marmol and Samardzija as well. When Bobby is right, what does that do for the rest of the bullpen, and how does it help the Cubs over these final 46 games?
Well, you know, Jeff Samardzija is going to be a very big key to this bullpen, but it's asking an awful lot for a young pitcher who's only been in a handful of games to be thrown in the fire in late August and September. And Bobby Howry has been there and done that. This isn't his first rodeo. He's been a very good pitcher, and he was a very good pitcher. He was really a key to the bullpen the second half of the season last year. But I think today what you saw was him try to start to incorporate some more off-speed pitches and not turn himself into a one-pitch pitcher. He has a good fastball, a good sinking fastball, but he needs to show hitters something other than that fastball to make it appear to be better than it actually is. He was able to do that today. You could tell he was starting hitters with the off-speed pitches early on in the count, and kind of what we were talking about during the game, the Texas two-step. Slow, slow, fast, 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 slow. Not staying in the same rhythm, and pitching is really about two things. It's about deception and angles, and anytime you continue to throw the same pitch over and over again, really good hitters, and particularly at the major league level, they're able to gauge and adjust within 2 or 3 pitches. So it's not so much the up and down and in and out. It's the back and forth, hard, soft that really makes a pitcher a good pitcher.
Kind of like a little waltz there. Slow, slow, fast. Fast, flat,
well,
fast,
that's all
slow.
it is.
Yeah.
It's all about timing and disrupting hitters' timing. When a hitter can go up and feel really comfortable, and after a pitch or two, they gauge the velocity on your fastball, it's not that difficult for them to, one, if they're going to narrow down and not have the threat of an off-speed pitch, two, they've seen your fastball back to back to back, and it's really easy to gauge.
Well, Jim Edmonds has been in the dance a couple of times before in his long career, Dan. He's our Feldco star of the game, and you know this meant a lot to him after the tumult that he had with Tony La Russa heading into that St. Louis series. He then went 0 for 7 and came through with 2 home runs for the Cubs, 2 runs that occurred in the first 9 innings.
Well, one of the things he brings to the table, he's an experienced player. He's probably not going to be the player that he was when he came up with the Angels, or, you know, he's getting a little bit older now, but if properly rest, he brings a whole new dimension, a power left-handed bat, and what you saw today, him being able to take a ball out the opposite field into a pretty strong wind. This was definitely a day that would benefit starting pitchers for the most part. Was tremendous. He made a couple of great plays in center field, and he brings something that you can't teach, and that's experience. This isn't his first go around. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and if properly rested, I think you're going to see what you've seen up to this point, a guy that is very productive and still could be very, very productive for the Cubs for the remaining part of this season.
Ted Lilly may not get as much fanfare as the other experienced members of the Cubs rotation. Certainly Carlos Zambrano and Ryan Dempster have more wins, and Rich Harden has more explosive stuff. But he was the starting pitcher in that Milwaukee series. Didn't get the win in that game either, but pitched very well in that game. Pitched very well in this game, especially the middle of that Cardinals order. The 3 for 6 guys were 0 for 10 against Lilly with a couple of walks, one of which was intentional. He really pitched a smart game today, it seemed, Dan.
Well, he's able to do because he's an experienced veteran pitcher. A veteran pitcher doesn't need to go out to have 3 pitches to go out and be successful and get deep into the 6th, 7th, or the 8th inning of the ball game. Ted Lilly's had some ups and downs. He got off to a rough start the first 5 or 6 starts of the season, but as the season has progressed, he's gotten better and better and better. He's kind of transformed himself. Last year, he primarily used his fastball early on in the count, trying to establish that. This year, it seems like he's gone a little bit in the reversal mode. He's thrown a lot of off-speed pitches early on, setting up his fastball. He's figured out a way to make his stuff successful, and one thing you have to really give him credit for, he has a knack for going deep into games. He matched up in Game 1 of that Milwaukee series with CC Sabathia, was scoreless going into the 6th inning. He's an experienced pitcher, and Josh, you can't teach that when you get into August and September.
And it seems, too, Dan, he learned from the experience of pitching in the playoffs in Game 2 last year in Arizona. It's almost like he carries a different mindset with him out to the mound each time now?
Well, I'm sure he's on a mission. That start that he had in the postseason against Arizona, you'd like to forget about it. But I can tell you from my 18 years of playing that there are some games that you have some bad days, and they're hard to let go. But if you use that to focus in the right direction as far as your workout program and you get back into spring training, you don't harp on it, but you remember what that felt like, and you try the best you can to never hope that you never will feel like that again. But this is a tough game, and any professional sports, it's about ups and downs, and it's about the flows of a long baseball season. You're going to go through pockets where you throw the ball particularly well, or from a hitter standpoint where you're seeing the ball well, you're making good contact, and then you're going to go through those periods where it's tough. But one thing with a veteran team like this team is, I think what really makes this team so good is you have some young players that play with a lot of enthusiasm, and I think the older veteran players feed off of that enthusiasm, and the younger players see how Aramis, Ramirez, Derek Lee, Fukudome, Alfonso Soriano, the way they go about doing their business every day. This is a real good mix of some very good young talented players and some veteran players that are in the peaks of their career. Well, you're showing off your versatility as well. You're excellent in the booth, but we miss you here in the studio. So, well, I miss having my hat on right now. I feel like I'm a man out on an island by myself without my hat. All right, I'm taking good care of it. I'll make sure it gets a good rest. And we'll see you at our next game, which I think is Wednesday. So enjoy your weekend. Perfect. You got it. Okay, Danny Plesac out at Wrigley Field with the Cubs beat the Cardinals 3-2 in 11 innings. As we head to our first break, we will check out our Buick Pontiac GMC opinion poll in honor of tonight being the 20th anniversary of the first night game at Wrigley. Which do you prefer over on the north side? You like day games? You like night games? Log on to ComcastSportsNet.com. Click the link to Chicago. Go to the Cubs page. Cast your vote. We'll have the results later on in the show. Much more still ahead on Lowe's Postgame Live.
If you missed today's Cubs game, Comcast customers can go to channel 999 and watch Cubs games on Comcast Sportsnet On Demand. Cubs games on Comcast Sportsnet On Demand, only on Comcast, subject to availability.
Nobody's going to have a better price. Doesn't hurt to look. Don't say it, don't say it.
Nobody had a better price.
You said it.
Lowe's believes you'll get the best price around with our everyday low price guarantee.
We'll take it.
Find a better price on anything we sell, and we'll match it plus take an additional 10% off.
Maybe we should shop around. Trust me, just buy it.
Lowe's, let's build something together.
Ask for 10% off your first purchase on your new Lowe's Consumer Credit Card account.
Think back to the last time you had a juicy Johnsonville brat. Remember how they sizzled on the grill? Memories are great.
Honey.
But there's nothing like the real thing.
Nice. I know.
Flavor up with Johnsonville brats.
They're hot and thirsty, and with all those sugary drinks, you've got a sugar situation. The sweeter solution? Splenda no-calorie sweetener. Amazing taste with no calories. Splenda, just what's good.
Never before has the gecko been captured on film talking about RV insurance.
So, you guys travel a lot. You should check out Geico and get a free rate quote on RV insurance.
This is truly history in the making.
You can also get a rate quote on motorcycle insurance, ATV insurance, personal watercraft insurance.
Sounds good.
Excuse me, I'm up here.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves.
Find quality products at low prices. Menards. When tackling big cleaning jobs, messes seem smaller with Libman. Right now, choose from a large angle broom or a Wonder Mop that's self-wringing. Your choice, $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Brighten up your home with Sylvania. A 13-watt mini-twist compact fluorescent light uses 75% less energy, only $198. Plus, there's 0 payments and no interest till spring with your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm John Brenny. Come check out all the new Kawasaki's at Brenny Cycle Works in East Moline.
All right, Cub fans, up next we have our half-hour special On the Road with Rhino. Luke Steckmeyer takes you behind the scenes with Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg in his second season as manager of the Single-A Peoria Chiefs. A regular week with Rhino turns into a wild week with the Hall of Famer, the trip to the White House, exclusive access to closed-door meetings, and much more. It's number 23, like you have rarely seen him before, On the Road with Rhino, immediately after Cubs Postgame Live. All right, time now for our Four Seasons Who's Hot, Who's Not. Manny Ramirez, red hot since he's joined the L.A. Dodgers, hitting .565 with 4 homers and 9 batted in. Carlos Lee got fat on the Cubs this week with 3 home runs, 10 RBI. Jeff Karstens, 2 shutouts in a near-perfect game in his first 2 National League beginnings. Who's not? Well, the Braves and the Reds. Edwin Encarnacion, 3 for his last 26. Jeff Francoeur, 4 for his last 26. Homer Bailey, 0-2 with an ERA of 13.5. Well, welcome back to Cubs Postgame Live. Let's take you back to Wrigley Field. Ted Lilly addressing the media.
Yeah. Just for the fans, I think we kind of set it up that way so that the fans can enjoy it. No. Really, when you're playing good teams, and you know, there wasn't too many mistakes made out there, and you're going to get those kinds of games. It's going to come down to something like that to win it.
83 pitches. I mean, were you surprised it came out favorable?
No, not given the situation. You know, I would like to be in there, but I understand. You know, definitely understand where Lou's coming from. At that time, Pujols was coming up, and he has a pretty good track record, you know, hitting, and then an even better one hitting against left-handed pitching. So, definitely understand what he's doing, and he's bringing in, you know, one of the better setup guys, shut down inning guys in the game. So, I think, you know, this is one of those games that you mark down. You look at it as, you know, as a overall great team win. I think, you know, guys contributed in some ways. Even the guys that didn't get hits, you know, made some big plays in the field, or, you know, in some way, shape, or form, added to the win.
You had to be alert out there because it looked like Tony was trying all the little small ball bag of tricks, like the squeeze and then later stealing and punting and all that. It seems that he's trying everything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's, you know, one of those games where you know, you need to do those sorts of things, and certainly, you know, we've played them and Tony enough times that you know, he'll do some of that stuff, and sometimes it works, but I think that you know, for Samardzija there, it's kind of a big play to, you know, to be able to not panic and step off and make a good throw to second. You know, sometimes it's funny, but it's simple things like that win you the game, get you out of the inning against a good hitter, and, you know, in the box at that time. So.
Did you smell the squeeze coming?
We talked about it, you know, before he came up. It's something you have to think about with, you know, with the pitcher hitting. So I actually told Gio that if he did square around the squeeze, I was going to try and throw it high. And I threw it down and in, and so it worked out.
With Henry winning the game.
All right, Ted Lilly talking about a big defensive play in the 5th inning for the Cubs. He was the starting pitcher, and Jim Edmonds staked him to a 1-0 lead in his first game of the series as he takes Braden Looper deep to right and gone for his 14th of the season. Now take another look as Edmonds flips the bat right in the direction of his former manager, Tony La Russa, with whom he now has an acrimonious relationship. But in the top of the 3rd, the Cards answer right back, an 0-2 pitch that Lilly leaves up, and Joe Mather takes out as the Cardinals tie the game at 1 on Mather's 6th. Stays that way into the 6th. Adam Kennedy with men at 2nd and 3rd hits the ground ball to 2nd. Skip Schumacher able to score. The Cards take a 2-1 lead. Now later in the inning with the bases loaded, Troy Gloss, who was 0 for 29 against the Cubs this year now, the fly ball to Alfonso Soriano. Mather tagging, Soriano gunning, Mather sliding, and he's an easy out. Soriano's 6th outfield assist, and it stays 2-1, and that was big because bottom 7, it is Edmonds again. He is T-H-E man. Number 15 for number 15, and his 3rd multi-homer game of the season. We're tied at 2. That takes us to the 11th. Nobody out, bases loaded. Henry Blanco in his first at bat. Through Cesar Izturis, Derek Lee scores. Cubs beat the Cardinals 3-2 in 11 innings, and in so doing, they extend their lead over the Cardinals, who are in third place in the NL Central, to 7 games. The Brewers fall to 5.5 back. They host the Nationals in Milwaukee tonight. Here's Lou Piniella at Wrigley Field.
Okay, heck of a ball game. Really good pitching, some clutch hitting. Bullpen did a heck of a job, so did Lily. We won in extra innings.
Pretty big at bat for some Argent Pujols, though.
Yeah, you know, and also showed a lot of poise when Albert tried to steal second base, and he just stepped off and coolly threw the ball over there. Yeah.
You had a lot of good defensive plays today.
Yeah, well, that coincides with the pitching. That's one thing that this team has been doing more and more of. And what it does, it helps your pitching out, obviously.
You always have to try to outthink Tony because he's trying all these little tricks like squeezing.
There's nothing wrong with squeezing. Tony's an excellent manager.
Is this about as good as all around?
Wow, but Lou Piniella was a little bit more excellent today. Still to come on the show, we have our poll results as we take one final break, and then we come back to wrap up Chicago Cubs Lowe's postgame live.
And now it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold Spotlights, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color.
And as we go to break, our look at our Just for Men Hair Color Stay in the Game Hold Spotlight. Carlos Marmol running away with the team lead to 22, which not only leads the Cubs, but it also leads the entire National League.
Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
It's gonna work. I don't think it will. Let's go. Dad? It's time. You'd be a really nice catch for somebody. Please?
Just for Men takes 5 easy minutes, targets only the gray hair, and can start something great.
For my girls.
Yes! I'm glad we did it.
Just for Men.
Can you match this? Shouldn't be a problem. Cool.
This?
Yes.
This?
Sure. Let me show you.
With our free color matching system, Lowe's can match any color you can come up with or come in with.
This?
This?
This? This?
This?
This?
Absolutely.
And Lowe's carries high-quality Valspar paint. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Stop by Lowe's for Valspar Interior Flat Enamel Paint, now only $19.98.
So, you're trading currencies online? But are you ready to trade naked? Hey, keep your shirt on. We're just taking complexity back to simplicity. At easy-forex.com, trade intuitively with the visual trading machine. Set your positions graphically with the trade controller and watch real-time trades and trends with the inside viewer. Trading will never be the same again at easy-forex.com. Forex over-the-counter trading involves substantial risk of loss.
You know that song, Time in a Bottle? Well, I got time in a bottle just by changing my allergy medicine from Claritin to Zyrtec. Zyrtec's a lot faster. It starts working 2 hours faster than Claritin, and it keeps working for 24 hours on all my allergy symptoms, indoors and out. You know, Zyrtec should put that on the label. Ingredients. 2 hours you didn't have before.
Zyrtec, the fastest 24-hour allergy relief, now without a prescription.
MGD 64.
I'll have 64 calories of Bud Light.
$12 ounces, 64 calories. MGD 64. As light as it gets.
This quote of the week is brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. For an insurance quote for auto, home, life, or business, please call Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich at 847-825-4783.
Earlier in the show, in our Buick Pontiac GMC poll question, we asked, in honor of the 20th anniversary of the first night game at Wrigley Field, which do you prefer, day games or night games? A little more than half of you still prefer baseball in the sunshine, but it was a pretty tight vote. All right, game 2 is tomorrow, Zambrano against Wellmeyer. Our next game is on Wednesday when the Cubs visit the Braves on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Till then, for Dan Plesac at the ballpark and our entire crew, I'm Josh Mora. The Big Blue train keeps chugging along. 3-2 Cubs over the Cards in 11. On the road with Rhino coming up next.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together.